Hello everyone, my name is Jasmo, and it is the day after November 15th. Yesterday kicked my ass pretty hard. Pine Lord, hello. Wordwin, thank you for the host. Much appreciated, guys. Thank you so much. Oh my god. Nano, I have a headache. I have a headache right now, and it seems to be light-induced. I did take an Advil, though, and I am drinking coffee, and my hopes that the same thing will happen every time I complain about, like, oh, I'm really tired, that I will perk up and I will start feeling a-okay. It is the day after tomorrow. Silent Willow, hello. Oh my. I may have gotten my 50,000 words in, but that doesn't mean everyone has gotten their 50,000 words. And for those of you who are still chugging towards your goal, I'm still going to be having sprints up on my channel. And they're still going to be along the lines of 20-minute sprints, 10-minute breaks, except for the first hour where it's a 20-minute sprint, 5-minute break, and then a 15-minute sprint. And then it will go 10, 20, 10, 20 for the other 3 hours. And the only reason I do the first hour is 20 minutes and then 15 minutes is because I like to talk for the first 10 minutes of stream. Not really. It's to give anyone a chance who is able to arrive and not be like, oh my god, I'm already missing a sprint. Melody, hello, good afternoon, how are you doing? How is everybody? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. I have to literally scrape my chapstick out of the tube because I have run out. And Bumble, hello? So the first sprint's gonna be starting in about 8 minutes. Ha ha ha. Chapstick. I also have my coffee, some water, my story. Last night I started to read my story out loud and lightly edit it along the way and make some notes. And that's what I'll be doing for the rest of the month. That is what I will be doing for the rest of the month, is reading, editing, all of that good stuff, and cheering on other people who are still writing. Alright, Wordwin. We'll be here. We'll still be here. Oh, my. Yes, my goal for the rest of the month is to not, like, only edit my stuff, but to cheer on everyone else who's still working towards their goal, or if they've reached their goal and they haven't finished their story yet, to cheer them on to finish their story. So something like Melody. And Blade Arcade, thank you for the host, much appreciated. Good to see you. Oh, I'm sorry I didn't hang out very long this morning because I slept in and then ate a chocolate muffin and then took a shower and wanted to go back to bed immediately. Immediately. And I don't know. My follower alert should be working, but I might have missed it. Almighty2, thank you for the follow and welcome to the tank. Well met. Thank you for joining us today. What am I looking for? Ah, that's what I'm doing. Folders. Twitch. Alert box. I must not have heard, the thingamajig anyways. I finally, yeah, there we go. I finally set up my little raid notification, which is, it's just, we're being raided by X amount of people and it has my, emo up. It's nothing special yet. I don't have raid commands or anything like that. Oh, because yesterday drained the absolute crap out of me. So much. I think I did a 12-hour day of streaming. I did 4 hours in the morning, took a break for lunch, 6 hours in the afternoon, took a break for dinner, and then did a couple more hours last night, and I made it like 14 pages in, reading out loud. It doesn't have to be special, just gotta exist. This is true. This is true. Oh my. And so we have about 5 minutes left until the first sprint starts. If you guys would like to share like how your days are going, how your nano is going, if you're getting stuck, if you're blazing right through it, you can. Let us know if you'd like to know. If you want to lurk, go ahead and lurk. I'm just going to be reading out loud and editing, which means even though I'm reading out loud, I will be pausing. It's not going to be a smooth read through it all, but hopefully it'll still be somewhat good background noise. I will still call out the time left during a sprint when my eyes can catch it. Sometimes I might go, hey, there's 16 minutes left, and the next time I say something it might be, hey, there's 2 minutes left. So I probably won't be as consistent as if I was typing, because as I'm reading, I'm totally focused. Almighty2, there you go. Oh, your nano's not going... Oh, you're not going well at all. And it's 9:06 for you. You must be across the pond over there. I was just not going at all. Oh, don't fret. Don't fret. For those that, like, they're struggling, they're way behind, they can't find the time, or a writer's block, that's okay. Just write. And I will re-emphasize that you do not have to write all one story. I checked the official nano rules. You just have to write 50,000 words, or that is the goal, is 50,000 words. So if you want to write 10 short stories, or if you want to continue a story that you had already started, you can count the words that you started continuing that story at. If you get stuck on one story, go write another story, or write some poems, write some song lyrics. Screaming Echo, hello. How are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day. Like, the goal for Nano is to write. They don't literally want you to write a novel. They would like you to write. Oh, my coffee is warm. Oh, yes. Got about 3 minutes left until we start the sprint. Echo, you're never awake to see this stream. It depends. Yeah, if you guys are on the other side of the globe, it is like dead in the night. Or if it's like Almighty, if you go to bed somewhat early, it's your bedtime about now. Slowly catching up, likely to lurk for the most part. That's alright. That's alright, Bumble. Lurker's more than welcome. Almighty2, you write more or less every day anyways? That's great. That is great. We've got about 2 minutes left until we start our first sprint. It's only going to be 20 minutes long. You can join if you would like to, but you don't have to. You can simply listen to the stream, because a little timer will go off when it starts, and another one will go off when it ends, and I will try my best to read out how much time is left at whenever I get my eyes over to the timer again. Like, Sorry, I'm looking at my document, and down in the corner of which you cannot see over here, it tells me how many pages there are. And this isn't the whole story, because I haven't found places to interject the other scenes. 51 pages. And I read 14 last night in about 2 hours, so I should be able to make it pretty much to the end of the document, or at least close to it, depending on how distracted I get. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to take a stand-up break every 20 minutes like I did yesterday. Yesterday, I took so many breaks because I was streaming for so long, and that actually saved me from probably dying figuratively, or being a lot... I would probably be in a lot worse shape or taking today off if I did not take so many breaks during the stream yesterday. Good to watch some writing streams? Yes. One way to break your writer's block or anything is to go find some media. Watch it. Read it. Get inspired by it. I tried to do the I'm on a media blackout while I'm writing my story because I don't want to be influenced by anything. And the thing is I didn't want to be influenced by anything that was similar to what I was writing. There's not a lot that's similar to what I'm writing, or I would actually actively go out and search for a similar thing that I was writing. So I ended up reading Blaine's The Caloric Kiss, Pseudoscience Tryst, and watched Thor Ragnarok, and those had pretty much no impact on my writing style or anything in the story. So even if you find media just to take a break from your stuff. Oh, we're gonna start our sprint.
Ding! Let the writing begin.
Let the writing begin, guys. 20 minutes for those of you who are sprinting, and if you are sprinting, good luck. You can do it. You can do it. We are all here to help support and cheer you on. Yes. Like, yes. I think I mentioned creativity yesterday, and that there was a distinct separation for me between creativity and imagination. And I couldn't quite find the right words to distinguish the two from each other in a clear way, and this afternoon right before stream, I think I found it. For me, creativity is being able to rearrange things in the box in really neat ways, maybe ways that we haven't seen before. And imagination is rearranging things not only in the box, but outside of the box as well. Oh, the sprint isn't listed. It should be. It is a group sprint. There's the link. I'm sorry I didn't share the link. It's gonna...
Let the writing begin.
That's okay. You guys can listen to the stream too. You don't have to actually click the button. Unless you really, really want to. It's okay if you don't. Oh, sorry, rubbing the eyes. Like I said, a little bit of a headache today. It's actually getting better as I go along. Thank you, Advil. But yeah, it's a really short description of creativity versus imagination for me in the way that I see it. Did I click share with buddies? I thought I did. If I didn't, you guys are stuck listening to the stream for this particular one, unless you would like me to restart it, because there was about 18 minutes left in the sprint. I might not have clicked the box. I kind of wish that if it's a group sprint that it would automatically just be there, because the way that Nano did sprints, they have an individual sprint for you where absolutely no one can join, and then they did group sprints. And would it be so bad as if group sprints were open to anyone who saw the link? Because you can't actually interact with one another, you can only click on the link and join in, and at the end of it, upload your word count or not upload your word count. So you can see, like, who the really fast typers are, or, oh, I'd love to catch up to this person. It would open it up to, like, finding a lot more writing buddies, too. I mean, Nano handled it in such a way that if someone was, like, really butthurt or a negative Nelly about the sprint, there's no way they'd be able to express themselves to anyone else unless they directly messaged them. And I don't really see that happening too much for the people participating in Nano, because I'm pretty sure there's a group of people of varying degrees that they're joining Nano and they're not assholes. Just like in general in life. If you're doing Nano, that means you're trying to be really dedicated and focused to accomplishing a very large goal. And you don't have like time or really room to be an asshole to other people to keep achieving your own goal, unless you're like one of those people that just like to squash others to make yourself feel better and be like, ha ha ha, I wrote way more than you did, catch me if you can. But some, like, the person's reaction to that statement could be like, watch me. Yep. Okay, I've got my 14 minutes, 16 minutes left in the sprint of talking out of the way. Yeah, and you really don't, well, okay, just because I don't think there's time to be an asshole in something like this doesn't mean there aren't people who are, like, just being an ass about it. Which I haven't met any. I have been actively trying to retweet and support people on Twitter, though, that have used the hashtag Nano or that have been retweeted by other people that I know. This morning I cheered on like a complete stranger. I had never seen or met this person in my life, and they were like, Nano, oh god, and I replied, you can do it, and retweeted their tweet. Like, supporting each other is probably what's gonna help a lot of people. And just like retweeting when people go live, or retweeting when people like make their goal, or they're like, I'm falling really behind, leaving a comment telling them that they can do it, you believe in them, that could really spur them on to accomplish the things that they were like, I can't do this, or this is getting too much, or I am really stuck. If we don't support one another, who will? I'm gonna blather on a little bit. Leading off of that, Twitch recently released achievements for streamers, and what those achievements turned out to be were stepping stones to becoming an affiliate or to becoming a partner. And they actually tell you the progress of the achievements that you're working on, and you passively work on them simply because you stream, if you are a streamer. And I saw like all the achievements, and it took me a while to find the achievements to the path to becoming partner. And Melody, you mentioned it the other day, is I've got 2 out of the 3. I've got 2 out of the 3, but the third one is a really difficult one. And I'm gonna openly talk about it. Like, why not be completely transparent? We're not trying to hide like how we build and grow ourselves and our communities on Twitch. I wouldn't want to, because any help, any way we can help one another succeed, why not? Why not? Where is it? Achievements. There we go. So if you already are an affiliate, or okay, there's different categories for the achievements. There, it begins, and then the path to affiliate, and then the path to partner. Let's see, and they keep track of your stuff. So they've actually kind of created goals for you, which is probably everyone's like, I don't know. I don't know what my goals should be. What are the requirements to becoming a partner, or at least the path to partner, is stream for 25 hours in the last 30 days, stream for 12 unique days in the last 30 days, and then reach 75 average viewers in the last 30 days. What that last one means is you have an audience of 75 people watching you on average for those at least 12 unique streams you did in the last 30 days. So every 12 streams, you need 75 people in your viewer count or recognized by Twitch, even if your viewer count is inaccurate. It's that last part that is ridiculously hard, because creative kind of failed in Twitch's eyes, like as the category, not us as streamers, but then again, us as streamers kind of also, we didn't really like pick it up and start supporting each other super hard to grow the community and make tight connections to make sure we could succeed, but none of us were aware that we needed to do that. Yeah, it is super hard. Like, the most viewers I think I've ever had was in the 20s, and I don't know how to get it up to the next level. And anyone else that I watch, writer or artist, any creative person, it's hard to get above 20 or 30 people. Yeah, the most I've ever seen is from K-Pike Fashion, like 1,500 viewers, but she's working it. She knows what she's doing at this point. She has a really large, supportive community, and then everyone else is just like way down below, and yeah. What about creative failing? Melody, I was watching another streamer this morning, and she didn't solely put the blame on us as streamers for having the creative section fail, but it kind of is because there's not enough of us. Creative didn't grab enough creators or artists or writers or anyone to make it super viable. The creative section of Twitch still makes up like less than 1% of Twitch's overall stats in terms of like viewers and probably revenue. I don't know that for solid. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, please. Be skeptical. I don't have all the facts right here in front of me. This is like just stuff that I've glanced over or heard. It's not solid. But yeah, I got about 10 minutes left in this sprint. It's like, I would really like the creative part of Twitch to be like community driven, just like everything else in Twitch kind of is it's community driven. It's our communities that help us succeed as streamers, and we want to succeed more for our community so we can bring them more and or better content and a whole bunch of other stuff to make it that much more like inclusive and fun and positive, relaxing, all of those things, entertaining. It's a feedback loop. But growing that feedback loop is super difficult. Yeah, and there's a lot of creative streamers that still go under the IRL category too, and that's really like boost numbers. That's to try to boost numbers. Almighty 2, that could be an approach. That really could be. There's a lot of different ways to approach the growth of your own channel, no matter where you are. If you are on YouTube or Twitch or YouNow or Picardo or any other streaming site, you could make a name for yourself elsewhere and then move over, and your followers will follow you over to whatever platform you like Twitch. Yes, Tech Angel, that is also true. I've seen that happen too, is sometimes people start streaming in creative and then switch over to IRL to try and be seen, because if you do that midstream, I don't know if it's still true, it used to put you in both categories. Like there's other things to discuss, but I'm not sure how to approach those topics, because I'm like, to get viewers, to retain viewers, they need to like you. Like, you could be a wonderful, amazing artist that friggin' paints like Leonardo or any of the famous old painters, or you have a ridiculously different style that's just like, it catches everyone's attention. You could have art that super catches everybody's attention, but if your watchers don't like you as a person, they can't just like get into your groove of what kind of person you are, they're probably not going to stick around for very long. And that kind of evens the playing field for like beginner artists or artists that do art in an unknown medium or a not very popular medium, or like that medium may have its own community, but in order to grow their community, because it's naturally so small, they'd have to branch out. I'm losing my train of thought. That is a very large part of it, Tech Angel, is finding out what time works for people. Finding a time slot that works for your viewers that want to stay, that want to watch you. Yeah, you end up being too last for Eastern, or too late. Yeah, too late for Eastern. Indeed. I started streaming in the afternoon because I don't remember. I probably mentioned it at some point. Got about 6 minutes left in this sprint. I think it was to give me a breather to where I could like do other stuff in the morning, like chores and exercise and other things. And then in the afternoon, I'd stream. And then right after that, it's dinner time, evening time. And it's kind of worked out that way. I do like streaming in the afternoons here because the time is kind of split. I'm early enough that some people across the pond, mainly in England, can catch me, and a few a little further over can catch me right before they go to bed. But if you are like East Coast, I'm still streaming by the time you get home from work. And the networking, yes, Melody. Yeah, if I hadn't met you or Blaine or Erica, I'd probably only have 3 viewers. I'd probably only have 3 consistent viewers instead of like 10 plus. 5 minutes left in this sprint. I promise I will read. I just wanted to talk about this because I do think it's important as like streamers and viewers to like help support one another. Like I said, no one else will. If we actually like each other, support one another. Go for it. Help spread the word. Like I said, follow each other on Twitter, which some of us already do. Retweet their tweets. Get eyeballs out there. Yep, word when you stream in the mornings. Yeah, if you're in the US and you stream in the mornings, probably no matter what coast you're on, you'll catch Europe in their afternoons and evenings. Yeah. Follow socials, share posts on socials. That doesn't mean like go out and get all the social media. It would help, but I like refused to do social media for so long because it was in my mindset that if I streamed consistently enough and long enough, people would eventually start finding me, right? And a couple did. And then I was like, well, if I hang out in other people's streams, make friends, eventually they'll find out naturally that I stream as well, and maybe some of their viewers or that streamer will pop on over and they'll eventually like share their numbers with me, since we wouldn't stream at the same time if I'm over there, and that also kind of helped. And it's not like stealing their viewers. I would emphasize it's not stealing their viewers, because I wasn't like, hey guys, I stream too, you should come over to my channel instead. That is the biggest no you could ever do. Don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, I eventually found like I really started growing from one, streaming consistently again, because I'd streamed consistently last year and then took a 4-month hiatus to move, and then I had 2 months of surgery to recovering, and my numbers they did start creeping up again. But then I started using Twitter, tweeting whenever I went live. I started following other people on Twitter as well who I liked and were in a similar hobby or category, and that started to help. This morning I retweeted Judy Dawn's stream that she was doing this morning to help get the word out for her, to get more viewers and support for her and anyone else. Melody, if I ever see a tweet of yours, I try to like it and retweet it if I'm not too late to retweet it. I think I'm a little daft in that I'm pretty sure there's a way to turn on notifications when one of the people I watch tweets something. I must not have done that. Because I am daft. Twitter is not, even as simple as Twitter is, I'm still not fully integrated. Yeah, pimp out everybody's stream. It's not poor marketing, Melody. It's not poor marketing. Like, word of mouth is how people used to find out about things, right? Before we had social media and smartphones, how did you know what the best pizza joint was in town? Well, you either went to all the pizza joints or you listened to a friend or family member go, oh yeah, this place has got great pizza. And then you'd be more likely to go there, right? You got about 1 minute left in this sprint. That might be something I do this weekend, is like go through Twitter and turn on notifications for people and follow people that I know. Holy crap. Yeah, Melody, thank you for the retweet. Much appreciated. Like, it happened, it's awesome. Like, it helps. It surprisingly helps. And Draylin, good afternoon. How are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day today. 20 seconds left. Yeah, I don't know why I needed to just like publicly talk about everything, because I could have done it more in private. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Bing! Time's up.
Time's up. I don't think I I clicked the box. Oh, it was an invite only. Okay, that was an invite only. I didn't hit the thing. So, 5 minutes and then another little tiny make public for my buddies. There you go. Another little tiny writing sprint. Great day so far. Will be better in about 90 minutes. I'm guessing that's about when you leave work. Because that's an hour and a half. Yeah, that's about when you leave work. Alright guys, got about 4 minutes or so until the next sprint pops up. You can actually physically join if you like by clicking the link, or just listen to the stream. Either way. What I noticed was really cool is that yesterday I recognized all the names in chat, with a couple new ones popping in and out, but like recognizing names in chat was just wild. Oh, Melody, that would be awesome. Yes. Starts another week off. Awesome, Draylin. Oh, vacation. I'm gonna drop off the face of the planet this weekend. I'm not gonna touch my computer. I'm gonna try not to touch my phone after yesterday, and just after driving really, really hard at Nano, I need a break. And this week has been just really hectic anyways, with like including date night. Date night contributed to all the hecticness that has been going on this week. Monday, Jim has got lots of meetings, staying late at work. Oh, God. Tuesday, date night. Wednesday, meetings till 11:30 at night, of which actually happened. Today, Jim's not only going to have his usual evening meeting, but he's also going to go off to his karate class. And just like... him working so much is exhausting me now. Oh, Melody, nice. Today's your last day for the week before PAX Unplugged. Ooh, Almighty 2, you're an online language tutor. Nice. Yeah, a lot of freedom to write. Oh, I see, I see. Traylon, oh my, at least you get some time to work on your vehicle. And it's lovely when you can take time out for those hobbies or those projects you've been meaning to do. Got less than 2 minutes until this next sprint starts, and I'm gonna focus on this next one. Possibly, unless someone comes up with another great topic to talk about that isn't as serious. Like, for some reason, the achievements and, like, the 75 viewer thing is just, I can't even imagine 75 people. Like, 20, yeah. 30? How in God's name did 30 people find my link? It's that sort of thing. 75. I can't imagine, like, here's the weird part, and I'm not being mean to myself, but I honestly can't imagine 75 people liking me enough to watch my stream. Like, not everyone is everyone else's cup of tea, I know this, but cannot imagine 75 peeps. It'd be amazing. That would mean probably a really good, strong community, creative community, or just people who like creative as well as creators. But my God, like, at least they lowered the bar for partnership on Twitch. I'm not sure if that was really lowering the bar, but they actually gave clear, literal guideline achievements on how to reach it, which is nice. A lot of creatives hosted by Adobe get those numbers. I believe that because Adobe is a big-ass business. If you're supported by a big-ass business...
Ding! Let the writing begin.
Yeah. Anyways. I was also stalling talking a lot because reading out loud is kind of harrowing. Yeah, Melody, actually, you know what? Okay, I know just about nothing about Nano other than you write 50,000 words and you create an account on this site to validate that you had written 50,000 words, or however many words you were able to write at that time. So I'm gonna do something odd and just learn about Nano and see if we can contact Nano to let them be aware of Twitch. I don't know what they would do with that information though, so if anyone has any ideas of like what we could send them, or I don't know. But National Novel Writing Month believes stories matter. The event began in 1999, and in 2005, National Novel Writing Month became a 501c3 nonprofit. NaNoWriMo's programs now include National Novel Writing Month in November, Camp NaNoWriMo, the Young Writers Program, Come Write In, and the Now What months. See more information about Nano's Young Writers Program, which is probably for kids. Wordwin, right? It's hard to believe they don't know, especially since I've been trying to put hashtag Twitch, hashtag NaNoWriMo in all of my tweets. Like, to kind of maybe spark a nano worker's curiosity of Twitch. What is this hashtag Twitch? And sorry, I I ate lunch, which was like noodles and broth with some vegetables, and I slurped one of the noodles and it came up and slapped me in my glasses. It's just, it flung all sorts of liquid everywhere. Alright. Okay. Now, Nano is a non-profit place or company, right? So usually I do all of this sort of thing offline because I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing or how to approach this, and I may have a really good like suggestion or idea, or someone else does, and then the company just can't do it because of the limitations and of the parameters that they have that they're tied down with. So if NaNoWriMo had an official Twitch channel, anyone, and they got like an affiliate or a sub button, all of that money would have to go to the non-profit side of their thing, right? And then what would they do with it? I don't know if they would have writers that would be able to consistently write on there, so they would always have a stream going, or if they would have a collection of people that they always hosted, so if someone was writing, they would be hosted on their channel, or what, I don't know. And who knows if they can actually put the work into developing a Twitch account with all of that stuff entailed behind it, right? Because if they jumped in at the partner level, because they are a company, a rather large company, they would need a lot of things. They would need emotes, moderators, like Nightbot or something like that, like a lot of work. And someone would always have to be watching their channel that works for them to make sure everything is kosher for them. So, yeah. Creative has been here for like 2 years, at least. Because I remember streaming Creative at this time, well, before this time last year. And I think, yeah. I'm sure it's really quick to look up. I'm sure it's really quick to look up, like, the exact date that it launched. Okay, press queries. If you would like to make a press query that isn't addressed above, click here to contact your local volunteer municipal liaison for an interview. Click there, learn about more Nano. I'm gonna shelve this so I can do it in private and think more clearly about it. There's about 9 minutes left on this sprint. October 28th, 2015 is when Twitch Creative started. I really wish that Twitch kept track of that. Because now I'm curious, is like, how long have I been streaming Creative? Have I been streaming since it was released, except for those months I was gone? Or just because I'm curious. Twitch is showing me that you're not streaming under anything. Because I'm not. Literally, because I haven't been. I don't think. And I don't know why. That should be fixed. I could have been streaming like the last 15 days with no category. But now there's a category, but thank you, Melody, for pointing that out, because I did not even notice. I didn't even notice. Duck face of dissatisfaction. Mm-hmm. Indeed. I'm curious now. Where's my author info? Okay, so there's author info. There's a fact sheet. Okay, there's a website. There's a website, and I think I only have, I do. I keep a Word document of, like, all the links and whatnot I post, like, on a daily basis. Okay. I don't know how to do this. Sure. Oh. Can you have a link? You can have a link. Sure. Sorry, I'm updating my Nano author bio, basically. Kind of as a plug for Twitch. Yeah. But that's it. I'm working, but not on the thing that I should be working on. That is the justification right now to me farting around. I can at least. Yeah, I should write under the distracted option. There you go. Less than 4 minutes left on this sprint. Is anyone even? Oh, tech is in there. All right. Okay. Sure, why not? Why not? There's that. I was kind of hoping more pep talks would keep coming out from Nano, their little newsletters, so I could read them. Because there has been some good advice from them, for sure. Like, their first kind of pep talk was, don't let anyone give you just negative feedback. If someone just points out all the bad shit in your thing and they didn't really read it, or they only have bad things that aren't that related to what you wrote, it's not constructive criticism. When people talk about specific things and also give suggestions of what you could do to change it, that's more along the lines of constructive criticism. Oh my god. Orange Sundays, thank you for the follow, much appreciated and well met. Welcome to the tank. Hi. I'm just farting around right now, but thank you. Got about 2 minutes left in this sprint. Straight up distracted, yeah. Yep. Oh, that's right. If you have whales, use them. Use them. That's something new I have to get used to. Is like, if you have whales, welcome the new members, followers, or new subs. However, both. I'm like, both are acceptable. Sorry, this morning I was just drained and dead, and I'm slowly recovering my energy. And it's almost my first break of the day, too. Oh, there we go. Welcome to New Aquatics. Yes, yes. Oh, that's right. Morbid was our newest sub last night, and she wanted a cuttlefish. She wants a cuttlefish to go in the sub tank down below, and cuttlefish can be adorably cute, or they can have many personalities. So I asked her what colors. Got about a minute left in this sprint. Nice, Wordwin. Nice, you just try to carry the whales, yes. Melody did make a pun. Less than a minute left. When I come back, though, I think I'm gonna turn over my attention to actually reading and editing. Which will be out, yeah, after the break. It is sunny and bright today. Instead of cloudy and bright. I wish it was cloudy and dark yesterday. Anyways. You'll get to hear my awesome radio voice read this wonderful, in desperate need of editing story. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Time's up.
Time's up. Get your word counts in. I'm gonna stand up, walk around the house a little bit, stretch maybe. If you have been watching or writing for a while, I highly encourage you to do the same. Get up, stretch, get that blood flowing. Take care of yourselves, and I will meet you guys back here in about 3 minutes. Alright, we are back. Thank you everyone for sticking with me through that short break. Oh, let's close the word count. Refresh the word count. Hey, there you go, Stephalophagus. There you are. Good. Good progress. Good. Great. Awesome. You guys are awesome. Oh, start another one at the top of the next hour. Boop. And if you guys want me to switch around like how long the sprints are, if you'd like a little more time, shorter breaks, let me know. Like, I can be way more flexible now. So in about 6 minutes, the next sprint will start. There we go. There. All of theirs and word when I read that. That sounds like an anime, not an anime episode, but that could have turned into a nice short episode of something. Silent Willow makes a point. Why would they need the steaks? Medium rare though, think about that. They're medium rare steaks, so maybe the monsters like their meat a little charred on the outside, juicy on the inside. Who knows? Who knows? Alright. I'm back. I'm ready to focus on editing. Now what I started last night is I'm reading through and I'm lightly editing what I wrote, which means if I find a misspelling or some grammar or some punctuation that needs changing, I'm gonna change it. If there's like a concept or a whole paragraph that I'm just like, ugh, I will highlight it or make a note and leave it. My first glance through everything is just that, a glance. I'm gonna read through it, see if the sentences make sense, make sure I spell the right things, because yesterday I found a word, boughs. I was meaning like tree boughs, but instead I wrote bows, basically B-O-W, instead of B-O-U-A-G-H or whatever. And I was like, ha ha ha, that's not the right word. No one needs a medium rare steak. Maybe these monsters have some class. That could be too. That could be it too. 4:20 before the next sprint. Alright. And if anyone has any questions while I'm reading, feel free to ask. Guys, I don't mind if I am being interrupted, but have a list of people that are also writing in Nano, and if you're curious as to what the story, or the bare bones gist of what the story that I'm reading is, there is the thingamajig. Sorry, I had a thought, and it's totally related to like Twitch and how you can pull people in. And it's something I don't want to do. Like, or just like run a series of experiments. But like, I'd still stream at the same time every day, but it would have to be visual. It would be all visual. Sorry, my brain is kind of stuck on that now because I'm like, how in God's name? Other than, like, networking is great. Stealthy networking is also great. And by stealthy networking, what I mentioned earlier is going into other people's streams and making friends. And then eventually, naturally, people will find out that you stream as well. And it's like after you make friends, and if you make friends, if you like the person you are watching, some of those numbers may bleed over to you. You have to be a viewer in order to get the views. Kind of. I mentioned that to another streamer and he just tore me a new one. He's like, that's the dumbest idea ever, and he almost made me cry. I was like, he was complaining so much about what I'm talking right now is getting numbers and viewers, and he's losing subs out the ass. He was just having a really bad day, and I was like, I was trying to be nice and cheerful and helpful, and he saw it as like an attack, or that he really did think it was a dumb idea to like, let's go to like 10 other people's streams, make buddies, like Like actual, like real buddies, not just like on the surface, I'm only using you to get you to come over to my thing and view me. That's not the point. The point is to make connections with other people. Yeah, yeah. And like, I was trying to be helpful because he was so hurt and struggling because of his falling numbers. And there's like a number of things you can do as a streamer to help prevent that. It's like, one, be a nice or decent person or have a shtick. Like Dr. Disrespect. People watch him because he is entertaining, he's playing a character. Hopefully. I've never watched him myself, but like that's his thing. But then there are other streamers who are totally being themselves, but they're also not dicks. And they just don't rip people a new one. It's mainly for gamers. But like, there's one streamer, Jim and I, we used to watch her. We liked her because she's down to earth, very realistic, and then she just started talking like a 12-year-old boy on CSGO. Who was not winning. And it was just like, wow, really? That, like, how negative she was being was just a huge turnoff. Instead of her going, okay, I know what happened there, that's my fault, what can I do to avoid that situation again and get better? Instead, it was a huge string of expletives, negative, derogatory statements, and and it's just like, rein it in a little bit, please. Oh my god. Yeah. And I used to be very pessimistic and complainy and whiny. Well, as far and an ass. Like, that's how I viewed how I was like last year. But I think it turned around. Not it turned around, or I turned around. Maybe that my memory is faulty. I don't actually remember. But last year, numbers were growing, I was just being myself, all of that good stuff, and then I came back to streaming.
Let the writing begin.
Let the writing begin, 20 minutes, and I was just so pessimistic because, like, I had 0 viewers again. But then again, I took like half a year off from streaming. I should have expected 0 viewers again. Like, all of the people that had followed me were just like gone in the wind, and when I started streaming consistently again, some of them started creeping back in. And eventually it started picking up again, and it just took time to get to this point. But over that time, I was like really pessimistic because things weren't growing and things weren't happening, and I was just like rawr, 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 and like complaining to Jim, I'm not, like, I would love to be validated as a creative person in some way, and getting, you know, obtaining a Twitch affiliation would be great, and it was great. But before I got Twitch affiliation, I tried to start being a more positive person. Got about 19 minutes left in the sprint. Blaine Arcade, hello. Thank you for that host earlier. Much appreciated. Hope you're having a wonderful day today, or that you had a wonderful day today. It's probably a little bit in the evening for you now. But yeah, the power of positivity consumes you. It is a powerful force, and the Pine Lord, there you are. Back again. Yes, you are. Hello. Thank you for the bits. Much appreciated. Such generosity. Much gratitude. I'll leave it, not complain. Like, the streamers who are either along the more positive line, or, like, I gave an example of, oh, I failed at this thing, and I lost. What happened? How did that happen? What can I do to get better? Or, like, I learned watercolor, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna play around and, do this, and if I'm learning, great. If things are going wrong, how can I fix them? It's the problem solving. That is interesting. Anyways, I said I was gonna focus and edit and read, though I'm not as good of a reader as Blaine is. Let's do this so I can stop talking about Twitch itself. Never mind. Remembering how child his pickiness was, he relaxed. Of course he could give the geese a chance. They were still birds, and all creatures were welcomed in the meadow. Hummer nodded to his mother. He would certainly give them a chance, just like he gave those other flowers a chance. After all, they turned out to be just as delicious. Hopefully these geese would turn out to be just as nice as the other animals in the meadow. It took a while for the geese to become available. They were treated like long-lost relatives, and everyone wanted to say hello and introduce their additions to them, as in children. These geese took it in stride, having experienced it for several years. I may lose my voice. Besides, they had plenty of time before they needed to take off again. It wouldn't hurt to sit still and rest for a day. I might lose my voice. We'll see. I can undo this. Okay. When most others had finally left the geese alone, the hummingbirds started to buzz over, creating a tingling in the air. Trilling, chirping, and squeaking laughter echoed into the vibrating atmosphere, making the geese rub their faces across their backs every few minutes. Hummer wasn't sure he wanted to contribute to their uncomfortable situation until one of his brothers shushed him from his perch. He hovered for a moment, looking back at the furry faces, hoping they would come with him. Rain, hello, lurks and hides. Enjoy your lurk. I'll be reading out loud today. As scary as it is. Got less than 16 minutes left in this sprint. I'm also still doing writing sprints for the people that would like to join. So if you are writing, or you would need if you would like an extra kick to do some writing, join our sprints. Roxy was the first to move, albeit slowly. She got down on all fours and led the way, Chip taking up the rear. They had known the geese for a few years, but weren't that close of friends since they didn't need to be. With Hummer, there was suddenly a reason to get to know them better. Hello, Beige called to the unusual train of animals led by a hummingbird she had never seen before. All the other geese turned their attention at her voice. I really wish I could do voices. I really do, because it would be funny. Got about 15 minutes left. Yes, Tech Angel is a writer and an artist. Guys, self-promote yourselves as much as you would like in my chat. Whether you're creative, artsy, or writer, anything, do share. Share all your links, share links to your works if you like. Don't have to. Or lurk in the shadows, that's okay too. Hello, Hummer trilled, feeling suddenly very, very nervous. He shuttled in place, watching as the giant bird closed the gap in between them with wide, waddling steps. Hi, Beige, Roxy called. The goose looked down at her and tilted her head in greeting, kind of like a hat tilt, I guess. The rest of her feathered family came up on her size and did the same as the squirrel family, fanning out. Fanning out? Fanning. There we go. Oh dear, yes, thank you. I'm sorry for your losses, Span said gently, his eyes on Chip. The squirrel nodded back with a bowed head, not wanting to be reminded of Polly yet again. We all are, Beige added. Her three offspring nodded, not sure how to contribute to their condolences. Yes, save and save often. I do need to create a thingamajig for that, don't I? It's all right. The meadow's recovering, Roxy replied as she tried to change the subject. Indeed it is. It's a good thing those elk are so large. Beige looked over to where the larger fallen trees had been moved. They had made a very good spot to dig shelter under, and their larger limbs were excellent lookout posts and perches for smaller animals. Yeah, I did. Indeed, Chip agreed. And who are these lovely little ones? Geek Tasmo, thank you for the cheer. Much appreciated. Such generosity, much gratitude. You are awesome. Thank you much. You guys are gonna make me blush even more. Not that you could tell. 12 minutes left in this sprint. And hello, welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. And who are these lovely little ones? Beige asked, her attention coming back to the squirrel family and Hummer. She looked at all of them to indicate that she was aware a hummingbird was with them. This is Hummer, Roxy said with a soft, proud voice, her paw held up, and this is... She moved to stand behind her sons. Scratcher, snuffer, runner, hider, tosser, bounce, and oh no. All 5, there you go, all 5 geese turned their honks into affirmative purrs of approval at her naming abilities. The boys waved back in a somewhat timid fashion since the geese stood well above them. Pine Lord. Thank you. Thank you for the bits. Cheers. Yep, Melody, one of the squirrel boys' names is Oh No. Yeah, squirrels can be kind of crazy. Let's see. I'm gonna make a note. I'm gonna make a note since I am editing. Editing is great. There we go. Okay. Ah, this is Braun, Span interjected, indicating his largest son, Sandy and One Leg. Automatically, everyone's eyes looked down to One Leg's leg to see if he had only one leg. While he was standing on a single leg, he waved the webbed foot of his other leg around to show them that no, he did not have just one leg. It's lovely to meet all of you. Beige somewhat closed the greeting phase of their meeting, her eyes turning back to Hummer. We've heard about you, growing up with Roxy and Chip. Mage mentioned that he'd never told you that you'd be migrating on the back of one of us. He didn't, Hummer squeaked. He was still a bit intimidated by their sheer size and the volume at which they spoke. No worries, Beige said a little softer. We'll be here for a few days. You can ask all the questions you like. Take some test flights. We want to make sure you feel safe and ready when it's time to leave. Hummer could only nod, still shuttling in the air above his family while Span excused themselves so they could rest some more. Bewildered was an apt description of how Hummer felt on the way back to his home tree with the others. He still wasn't sure if he believed he'd be riding one of those giant birds. He shook his head to try and shake the thoughts loose from his mind. He would find out tomorrow if it was true or not. Got about 9 minutes left in this sprint. I'm missing things. Here's a bit of concept Pine Lord will love. Ah. It's oh no, as in like, oh no you didn't. Oh, and guys, to add quotes, I don't know if you know what the command is to add quotes, but I think everyone can add quotes if they like. I think I only have one that Pine Lord added. Yeah, I'll just keep repeating until it feels like it's long enough. Yeah, that's one. Dude, Pine Lord, have you been keeping track of those? Kudos to you if you have. Alright, got about 8 minutes left in this sprint. One Leg? Hummer called from his precarious position. What is it? One Leg yelled back far too loudly. He was soaring high in the sky on a practice run to get the little hummingbird used to riding. Is this too high? Hummer's little feet gripped the feather it was holding onto even harder when he peeked over the shoulder of the goose. Oh, we fly much higher than this. Is that a problem? One Leg tilted his head back to see that the growing sickening look in Hummer's eyes. Apparently it was. I'm gonna land down, hang on tight. I'm gonna land probably now? I'm gonna land now, hang on tight. One Leg tilted his wings just right to start his descent, trying to go as slowly as the winds would allow. He could feel Hummer press his little body down against him, and and when he looked back, the hummingbird was entirely covered by his own goose feathers. This is why I'm editing. This is why I'm doing reading and light editing. Got about 7 minutes left in the sprint. All right. Fine Lord, nice. Out of context quotes for the win. Oh my. Alright. Water landing. One Leg forgot to mention just where he was landing, not even thinking the water would be a problem for the tiny bird. Hummer only squeaked in response, and when One Leg did hit the water, instead of a sudden jolt, there was a swooshing of water, then nothing. Hummer lifted his head ever so slightly to look out from under his feather protection. Feathered protection? He had never seen the pond from the middle before. The meadow looked very different. We're safe, One Leg confirmed, his head arching back. Hurt? Oh god. Large black eyes watched as the small green, white, and magenta hummingbird shook himself free and sat on the goose's back. Are you alright? Yes. Yes, it is. But, Pinelord, if you wanted to add those, I think you can. Because I know I didn't add that. But yeah. Small, beady black eyes looked up to the goose that had softened his voice. How was he going to ride on one leg for hours at a time, for several days, for several weeks? He wasn't sure he could do such a thing because he was so used to being in control of his flying. To being in control of his flying, especially after all that hard work of learning and practicing on his own. I think so. Hummer looked across the pond to watch the rest of One Leg's family. They were speaking with the burrowing owls and other birds that would be migrating with them. Were they really going to do it? There was no way to stay home. There you go. Tech Angel, highly tempted to read the beginning of your story and add to it without editing. Tech Angel, you totally could. You totally could. There's nothing stopping you. Just don't delete anything. Like, you might edit a little bit. You might be tempted to edit a little bit, and if there's anything that you want to delete, just highlight it. Highlight it in, like, red or something that you know you will remember that, oh yeah, I was going to delete this. And that's mainly for, like, the final validation of your word count, because on Nano, you can copy and paste all of your words to get it officially validated rather than just typing in the number. And I think you have to do that too. So they can actually, like, yes, this person did hit their 50,000 word mark because here are all their words pasted in our data bank. I did that last night. Yeah, mark what you've added so you can add to the new word count. True. Or wait until you're done writing for the day and then just count all the words and update your total. There we go. Has anyone ever stayed behind before? Hummer asked suddenly. He didn't mean to let the question slip, but once it did, he felt a weight lift from his mind. You mean birds? Because most of the land animals, except for deer and elk and a few others, they all stay. Something about hibernation that I never really asked about. Hibernation? The small hummingbird perked up at the word. Could it be his way out of migrating? I don't know why I'm adding this. Got about 3 minutes left in this sprint. There we go. I'll put it into context a little bit better. There we go. Alright, Silent Willow, stay safe during that lightning storm there. Thank you for stopping in and hanging out with us. Really do appreciate it. You have a great rest of your day if you can. And we will catch you later. Wordwin, thank you. I might narrow that down to only moderators can do that. That's alright. That's alright. Anyway, here we go. Yeah, the prairie dogs or your parents should know something about it. One leg turned to face the shore and started to paddle gently to it. He knew Hummer could simply fly off his back, but he also wanted to meet up with his family and see when they thought the next round of geese would be arriving. So adding that little tiny sentence actually helped. Okay. Thanks for the ride, Hummer said idly, his wings already humming with intent. No problem. Let me know if you want to go again or practice something else. The goose nodded, his eyes following the little bird until he disappeared into a tree on the edge of the meadow. Mom, Hummer called slowly into the hollow of his home. He knew his brothers and Chif were out, but his mom usually spent the afternoon making sure their home stayed clean. Yes, Hummer? She was dusting the floor with her fluffy tail, little shells and rocks gathering in a pile. Shells. Not shells. Sure. What is hibernation? Hummer perched himself in front of the door, watching as his mother stood to look at him. Got less than a minute left in this sprint. I can imagine. I can imagine. I've never seen Silent Willow's view from his work table, but I think I can imagine if you're mentioning it, Wordwin. 30 seconds left in this sprint. Who told you that word? Her furry little brows scrunched together. She had never mentioned it before. One leg did when I asked him if anyone stayed behind for the migration. I would like to add a little description. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Time's up.
Time's up. Alright, Tech, I know you're writing. I know you're writing. Give a 10-minute break to the writers, and we'll start another 20-minute sprint at the half hour. Make it public. I wonder what invitation only means. Yep. Okay, so if anyone would like to join in on the next writing sprint, feel free to do so. If you don't have to click on the link, you can simply listen to the stream. Tech Angel, that's alright. That's alright. Now I would like to add a description here. Oh. Okay, okay. Who told you that word? Her furry little brows scrunched together. She had never mentioned it before. One leg did when I asked him if anyone stayed behind for the migration. He toed the tree underneath him, trying not to look at his mother. He wasn't sure if it was a good or bad thing to know about. It felt like he was about to get into some sort of trouble for asking. There you go. Oh. Dusting was completely forgotten, her main worry growing right in front of her. Well, she waved in her feathered son. He stepped in and hopped on a low knurl to sit on, watching her feet start to carry her back and forth. You see, she started, arms making motions but no words following them. Well, hibernation is when us mammals sleep through the winter. Well, it's not actually sleep, really. Why do you want to know this? She stopped to look at her son, her eyes slightly moving to try and judge his mood. And Zalisar, good afternoon to you too. How are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day today. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day today, or as good a day as you can possibly be having, or a better day. Hope your day is at least better. I am reading and lightly editing today. Hopefully not going to lose my voice in the process. You think you'll call it a bit early today? It's Thursday, right? Yes. Yes, it is Thursday. Can never call it too early. Let's see. Well, his head slumped slightly to look at the floor. I didn't want to leave. I don't want to leave for migration. He huffed a sigh. There, he said it. He finally said it out loud when it became clear to him that it was a thing that was going to happen, whether or not he wanted it to. Okay. Oh, honey. Roxy moved forward, her small paws wrapping around her smaller son in a hug. It's all right. I know you're comfortable with how life is now, but seasons change. And when seasons change, we need to adapt. It's all a cycle. Oh, here, I can start mentioning the first... Well, it's not the first bit. It's all part of the circle. Pretty soon, you won't even notice it, and you'll just be ready on your own accord. This is a big thing to think about, just like, that is what is weighing on her. She looked down at him lovingly, hoping that raising him among her sons hadn't put him at a disadvantage for the rest of his life. Hummer tilted his head up. Really? He asked. He still had so many questions. He wasn't sure if he wanted to bombard his mother with them all right away. Really, it does take getting used to, but believe me, migrating will be a wonderful experience. You'll fly across the land for weeks, stopping in new places, tasting new flowers, seeing things you've never seen before. She pulled away to sit back on her legs, her eyes smiling brightly. She could see all the questions gathering tension behind her son's eyes. What do you want to know? I'm bad at reading, oh my god. Pine Lord, I will go fishing with you. Gentle trilling filled the air as Hummer thought about what he wanted to ask. It felt selfish, but he really wanted to know why he couldn't stay in the meadow for the winter. There we go. Why do I really have to go? Roxy spent the rest of the afternoon explaining all of the changes the meadow would go through in the winter. Or just in winter. Yeah. Because... If anyone is new here and you are not familiar with the story that I am currently reading, this is the story that I have written for NaNoWriMo, and it's completely based on animals. Hummingbirds, squirrels, geese, and so I'm trying to write it from their perspective with as little human influence as I can manage while still making it relatable. And that is why I'm going to be capitalizing seasons and the circle, which is literally just a circle of life. 3 minutes left in this sprint. Oh my god, it makes me feel so good that my rank system is working in chat. Sorry, I had to get that in there. I just love seeing it instead of unranked on everybody. Anyways, that is why the seasons will be capitalized, along with maybe some other words here and there. Okay. The trees that had leaves would turn bright oranges, reds, and yellows before falling off entirely. The pines would stay the same, but the real problem for Hummer was the flowers. Or were. Yes? Let's see, the real problem for Hummer were the flowers. Was and were always foobarmy. All of the flowers would wilt when it became too cold, and he would have no food, and there's no way to store food for him over the many months of snow. Got less than 2 minutes left on this sprint. Snow was also a problem for him and most birds. It was far too cold and staying warm would be impossible. He would need a coat of fur like the rest of his family, and there was no way to get one. I see. Hummer's head bowed again, knowing that his mother would never lie to him. He had noticed that she and the others had been starting to store more food than usual. He looked up and took in the veritable mountain of nuts, seeds, and other edible things that made up the shrinking roof above their heads. In the spring, I see. I might just get rid of the. In spring, the hollow was so tall no one could see into the darkness above. With how much food there was carefully placed over the season, it could bury them all with one good shake of the tree. Do all the other mammals do the same? The prairie family? The prairie dog family? Oh yes, Uncle Doug and Aunt Pebbles have been working through the seasons to make sure everyone has enough food to last the winter. They've even dug tunnels to other residents just in case the snow gets too bad this year. Nice, nice. Alright, Paintfish, you're finally getting the stats evened out. The stats are evening out. Congrats to Wordwin and Zaliser for winning on that. Okay. A sudden honk from outside their tree startled both Squirrel and Hummingbird. It took a moment to shake... Oop.
Let the writing begin.
Let the writing begin. Oh, that was the break between... Oh my god. Now it's writing time. 20 minutes. Go. Holy crap. I was not paying attention. Jesus. A sudden honk from outside their tree startled both Squirrel and Hummingbird. It took a moment to shake the flight instinct, and before it even wore off, Hummer was at the hollow entrance. Sandy was flying near the tree, a few of the smaller mammals riding her back, while Braun chased her with his own little entourage. See? They know what they're doing, Roxy commented. She nudged her son, letting him know that she was aware just how rough his first ride had been on one leg. She had watched most of it. Yeah, nice, Zaliser. Got sausages and bacon. Meat candy bacon. What if I get blown off? Or there's a storm? Hummer looked up to his mother. They had been through storms before, but he had never tried to fly in one. Span and Beige will know more, or would know more about that. I'm just gonna, yep. Span and Beige would know more about that. Roxy patted Hummer on the head. But it's time for dinner. The boys should be back any minute. Go grab something to eat and you can tell them all about your first ride. Her eyes beamed with a smile to try and encourage Hummer to embrace what was happening and that he would be just fine. Okay. He did as his mother said, flying down to the meadow to find some of his favorite flowers. When he spotted a few, he paused. Roxy had mentioned that he would find new flowers. He wasn't too entirely fond of trying new things, but traveling would force him to. If he got used to the idea before then... He flew off to another part of the meadow opposite of the commemoration site. He knew not to drink from the flowers in that area. Not yet, even if there were so many. It was made clear that many loved ones were returned to the ground in that area, and more time needed to pass before they would be reincorporated into their lives again, and nutrients for the plants and other smaller insects. Okay, that's a weird sentence. That's a weird sentence. Okay, it was made clear that many loved ones were returned to the ground in that area, and more time needed to pass before they would be reincorporated into the plants and other smaller insects to provide for the residents once again. To provide what? Food, obviously. I have no idea. Sure. Got about 16 minutes left in this sprint. Melody leaving soon, you hope? Let's hope. We can all hope with you. 16 minutes left. Bright orange petals with electric blue stripes caught his gaze. He had seen the flowers before but never tried one, deciding to leave it for the bees and the deer that loved eating them. Most of the deer were already gone and the bees were starting to stay close to their hive, so he shuttled in front of one, dipping his beak in, tiny tongue lapping up the equally sweet but slightly different tasting nectar. It was maybe the fourth different type of flower he had ever drank from, and he was beginning to think there was no such thing as bad flower. Most of the deer were already gone. Okay, that still makes sense. That still holds. It holds great. And then a mini vacation. Yes. Vacations are awesome. Pink-hued clouds signaled it was time to finally head home, his stomach sated and wings fully energized by the meal. On his way home, he decided to fly higher than usual, trying to gain confidence that it didn't matter how high he was from the ground, he could still fly. There were mental barriers that always made him believe that the treetops were the highest he could ever fly, because he had never seen another hummingbird fly any higher. One leg certainly disproved his notions when the goose flew well above the highest reaching limbs of the tallest trees in the meadow. Okay. At home, the Squirrel brothers were just finishing their meal, Roxy and Schiff already curled up together to enjoy their evening. 7 pairs of eyes looked at him, all beaming, but there was a hint of sadness behind them. Hummer hopped back from the hollow entrance to the spot he had taken before? To tell them about his hummingbird training. I need to change this. Got about 14 minutes left in this sprint. Let's see. Sure, okay. Hummer hopped back from the hollow entrance to the same spot he had taken to tell him about his hummingbird trading. Hummingbird trading in the summer. There we go. I'm trying to leave hints. And they're not really hints, but to emphasize that nearly every single season has been capitalized if it has been called by name. So I don't know. So, is it true? Runner asked, walking slowly around Hummer. Yeah, are you really leaving? Oh no chimed in. He wasn't his usual daring self. None of them were, as they sat in a line as best they could around their feathered brother. Well, I won't be gone forever, Hummer replied, trying to make it sound like a joke. The migration is long, but we'll be coming back in the spring. Or in spring. I would really... Yes, I'm going to do that, okay. Are you really riding on one of the geese? Tosser asked. I tried it earlier today. Guys, all 7 squirrels leaned in expectantly. It was terrifying. Hummer punctuated his words with nods. Terrifying? They asked in unison. Yeah, all I could do was bury myself beneath his feathers and the landing. He paused for dramatic effect, for just a moment too long. Yeah, the landing, Scratcher insisted, was so smooth I didn't even know it happened. Whoa. Scratcher fell over from leaning too far out from his brothers, making him laugh. I wish I could do voices. So many more questions poured out of the furry faces. Many Hummer couldn't answer on his own, but as always, his brothers were there to support him and offered to help him ask all the questions he wanted to the next day, since the geese were still very intimidating. Saligson, hello, good to see you again. Welcome back. I'm still holding sprints if you have time to do writing, or if this is your writing time. I currently have one up and there's about 11 minutes left in it to go. You can either just listen to the stream for the cues or click the link. Oh, my whale. I love my whale. I love my blue whale. Sorry. About 11 minutes left in this sprint. Thanks. I don't know what I'd do without you 7 furry butts. Hummer rubbed faces with each of them as they made their way back into the hollow for the night's sleep. I think the heat turned on. I'm getting toasty. Okay. Gotta get the juices flowing first. That's alright. That's totally fine. You do you. The next sprint is going to be at the top of the hour. Yeah, Melody, furry butts. I think I need to interject a little more humor, but I'm not sure when, where, or how. I do have Size and Pine Lord's dad jokes, animal dad jokes, or puns buried away. So at some point, oh, cold and out of caffeine. Oh noes! Grab a blanket and some coffee. 10 minutes left in this sprint. I'm drinking a lot of water. So I'm belching a lot. Silently, thankfully. But, on a weird note, if I did have a good-sized belch coming up, I would just let it go. And then say, excuse me, but yes. Yes, Pine Lord, you are in the right stream. Hashtag butts. Anyways, Span's family was inundated with every sort of critter a meadow could hold until more geese arrived. They had been following him, but a storm caught them all off guard and was just one of a handful they had flown through to get to the meadow. I don't think I want to make that a longer sentence. Okay. With the other geese on the ground, most of the meadow residents went to greet them, giving Span's family some peace and quiet. Because you gotta be clear. I'm gonna be clear. I like to be clear with who I'm talking about. Because the them could have mentioned the geese that just arrived, which would have been contradictory since all the other animals went to go see them. Riding. Riding is great. It's great. Except for one leg. Oof. Giving Span's family some peace and quiet. Except for one leg. He had been the designated carrier for Hummer, and Hummer alone, since it was his first year having a passenger. That passenger waited until the early afternoon to find him, along with his 7 squirrel brothers, to drown him in questions. It didn't take long to realize that the squirrels were highly defensive of their feathered brother and supported him a lot, like his own family did for him. I guess I... Gotta be clear. It made him smile and endure the seemingly never-ending train of questions. Are there falcons? One asked. Yeah, big nasty birds that would snatch you out of the sky, another added on, his body outstretched with his tiny paws curling over like he was going to pounce on a brother. There are, one leg answered, but we're too big most of the time to be bothered by them. We also fly really high, so most other birds don't even know we're there. Several heads bobbed in understanding, including Hummer's. He was perched on a tall reed next to the pond where one leg was floating at the shore. Words. Another note to self, get that butt emote commissioned. It's gotta be a safe for work butt emote, though. Everyone turned to... Oh, no. There we go. As long as Hummer stays tucked in while we fly, he'll be fine, he explained to all... He explained to all of the... For the 5th time. All of them. Haha, there we go. Editing for the win. Yep. He explained to all of them for the 5th time. My family has never had a problem. Isn't that right, Dad? Everyone turned to look at Span, who had walked up behind them unnoticed. A couple of the Squirrel brothers jumped, one landing in the arms of another and tripping them both over. Tripping them both? Both into falling over. Span purred at them, trying not to honk, in levity? I don't know a different word. Jumped. There we go. Didn't mean to scare you boys. I've been listening to you hound one leg over here and thought I could answer some of the harder questions if you have any. Together, the Squirrel brothers straightened themselves out and lined up, trying to look serious. What's it like high up there? Oh no asked. It's usually rather cold, Span answered. That's why we ask our passengers to hunker down where it's warm. I can pronounce things. I'm trying to speak too quickly. Where do you land? Bounce asked. Anywhere there's clear land. Or water. It's always changing, though. Sometimes fields we've used for generations get covered up, so we have to find new places. We've never not had a place to land, though. What covers them up? Tosser asked. Tosser wondered. There you go. There are other animals out there that live in really big groups. Span took a moment to think of what he could relate them to so that the boys would understand. They're like massive groups of beavers that build dams, only their dams go over land instead of water. 8 bodies rocked back, trying to imagine such a thing. Why would an animal build their home over the land instead of inside of a tree or underground? There we go. Melody, very good point. Glad you thought of that. Oh, a robot bite. Yeah. Salixon, that sounds awesome. Got about 4 minutes left in this sprint. And then it's a stand-up break for me, and the next sprint will be at the top of the hour. There we go. You're flying to a warmer place, right? Hyder asked nervously. Trying to change the subject so he didn't have to think about land beavers. Sorry. We are. It's why we fly south. It gets too cold for us to stay up here, and there's no food, so we fly. The place we've been flying to is warm, lush, and safe for most predators. What sort of predators are there? Runner threw into the question pool. Mostly small ones we don't worry about. Hummer will have no trouble keeping safe even when he's on his own. Span looked over to the small hummingbird and tried to give him a reassuring look. What are the other animals like? Stuffer's mouth was nearly stuffed full of grass and other various edible things, his cheeks poking out to make it nearly impossible to decipher his question. Got about 3 minutes left. Animals? Span asked to confirm. Stuffer nodded his head. Well, there's lots of other birds. Some are really colorful, some are territorial. There's other mammals, insects, all sorts of characters down there. What if there's a storm? Scratcher interrupted. He had overheard the stories of the storm that had devastated their meadow in spring when he was too young to remember. He had seen families and individuals visiting the commemoration site where there were too many little mounds of dirt with flowers growing out of them to count. That high up there usually aren't storms, but there are giant docile birds, some larger than the meadow. Docile? Hummer asked, his heart fluttering wildly. A bird as large as their meadow? Could there really be such a thing? They usually fly above us, but have never given us or anyone that we know trouble. The real culprit up there are strong winds that can knock us off course. Thankfully, we have backup plans for when that happens, don't we, son? One Leg nodded. If we get knocked off course, he recited, follow the sun until we see a vast body of water, then keep the sun on our right and fly on. He nodded and paused. He was forgetting something. Try to span that on. Oh, try to find another flock of geese to fly with. Safety in numbers and, I guess safety in numbers, and they will most likely know where we are headed. There is safety in numbers, and they will most likely know where we're headed. Okay. Okay. Good. Hummer, try to remember the same thing. We'll have a safety meeting before we all leave, but I want you thinking about it now. Can you do that for me? Hummer nodded, determined to commit the words to memory. The last thing he wanted to do was become separated from the flock on his first migration. About 1 minute left. Ice Bunny, hello, I see you there. Welcome back. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. 1 minute left in the sprint. True to his word, Span started holding safety meeting days before they were going to leave, even though all the other geese hadn't arrived yet. After meeting Hummer, Span really wanted to make sure everyone would stay safe because the storms they had already flown through were concerning. The weather had been so much more different than the year before, he wasn't sure what to expect, and he was honest about his feelings. Oh dear. Oh god. Where am I? There we go. We'll be alright, Grums assured everyone at the final meeting before they were to take off. The next morning would be their last until they returned in spring. We know the way, and there will be others traveling as well. Remember, help one another, stay safe, and don't panic. Dozens of birds nodded and sang their responses. Most were seasoned, but there was a good chunk of their numbers that had never migrated before, and were nervous.
Time's up.
Just like Hummer, it made the small hummingbird feel better that he hadn't been the only one. Alright, that is my break time. I'm gonna get up, stretch, make a few laps around the house, and if you have been watching or riding for a while, I highly encourage you to do the same, and I will meet you guys back here in about 3 minutes. Alright, we are back. Thank you everybody for sticking with me through that short break. Boop. Ah, lady, I see you there. Alright, next sprint will be for the top of the hour. $20 minutes on the board. Make it public. There we go. Boop. Okay, this time 6.5-ish minutes until the next sprint. Oh, some gossip can be positive if you pick up on the little things. Like, if someone's, like, gossiping about how someone brought stuff into the break room to, like, share, like a vegetable platter or something, a cake or donuts, they might give you valuable information about the person who brought them. Like, yeah, she always brings in this, she's a health nut, so if there's ever a Christmas time, you could get her like a $5 or $10 gift card if you happen to like Secret Santa them to a place that sells sporting goods or sportswear or something like that. That's the only positive thing I can see about gossip, is that you glean a piece of information that would allow you to have a positive impact on that person. Hopefully. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Secret Santas might be coming up at work. The term gossip probably isn't a positive one. Yeah. So, gossip's not exactly positive, but you might be able to glean a piece of information that would be useful. Again, I'm going to repeat myself, so you can have a positive impact on that person or person's life. It could even be the person spreading the gossip. You can glean information about them. It's like, what kind of information are they giving you? And it could be, they always mention this one person's something or other, which means they're interested in it. And it could be like, this one person always mentions someone's like, yeah, they always go skiing, or this guy has a really cool Harley, or he's always riding his bike. That could lead into questions if you want to get to know the gossiper, into like, oh, like, do you bike ride too? It's like, no, I wish I did, and I don't know. I haven't been in an actual workplace with other people for a long time. I'm a hermit. But I have been working towards the positive side of being a hermit instead of a crotchety old lady person. Like the get off my lawn type of person, because I am wholeheartedly one of those type of people. Word choice is important. Sorry, I'm scraping more chapstick out of my chapstick tube. About 3 minutes left until the next sprint starts. And I might sneeze. Don't sneeze. Don't sneeze. Nah. Okay. "28 projects in your list, Wordwin." Oh my god. That's a lot of projects. Are those all writing idea projects? My god. In high school, I was never aware that people did such a thing as gossip, or talk about their classmates to other people, like behind their back or without their knowledge. And it only hit me when I was in my first year of college that that is something that could have entirely happened. And I was a little mortified by that because I was on a wrestling team for like all 4 years of high school and actually dated one of the guys on the team. Ended up breaking up with him, of course, but that wasn't the thing I was worried about. I was worried about is like how everyone else perceived me on the team when while I was on the team, it didn't even occur to me to think about that. I was just having fun, being a part of the team, and the extra, like, it was all positive. I was so naive, I suppose, in the social terms. And like, same with all of my classes. I didn't really have friends in high school, like, at all. I wasn't like friends with people on the wrestling team or in band, except for the guy I dated. And it was really weird. I was completely alone. I didn't consider anyone a friend. And then it hit me in college. I was like, what would they have said about me? And it struck me because I heard 2 college student freshmen talking about someone they had met, and they were trying to basically just fill each other in on the people that they had met, and I was like, oh my god, you're talking about a person and they're not there, what are you doing? Just, Pine Lord, yes, gossip is sometimes how detectives or heroes find info, and in games like Dungeons and Dragons, players can overhear NPCs gossiping to acquire important info. This is true. Ooh, here comes the sprint.
Ding! Let the writing begin.
Let the writing begin. Okay. Gossip, the reason why people go to bars and RPGs. Yes. Yes, in games, bars have all of the information. I would say bus drivers probably do too, because it's a place where a lot of people get together, and though people may mostly be silent on buses, there are snippets of conversation and other things that they'll probably hear that other people don't even know that the bus driver would be listening. Drailing time to start vacation. Awesome. You travel safely home. Have a great rest of your day. And we will catch you later, if that means you are heading out. Okay, I am going back to reading. Excuse me. In fact, most of the nervous first-timers gathered together after the meeting to share their concerns with the more seasoned flyers. Question after question was answered, information pouring into one ear and for some out the other. What the seasoned flyers neglected to mention was that every year at least some of them were lost from the flock permanently, and no one was going to mention it until Span joined the group. Yep, good night. Alright, Draylen. Like, good luck, have fun, we'll catch you later. Woohoo! Like, people are weird. People are weird. Now, I know this is a difficult topic, but it does need to be discussed. All eyes fell to him, some in a disapproving manner. They've heard enough for one day, a songbird tried to intervene. Span wouldn't have it. I know. You've been given a lot of information today, and you probably won't remember it this first time. And what I'm about to tell you may make you forget some of the stuff we'd like you to remember. He looked around slowly, confused eyes and tilted heads staring back at him. Not everyone will make it to our final destination. As much as we like to plan, there are unexpected things that can and will happen. The important thing is not to panic. What about coming back? Another hummingbird asked, his head popping up above the rest in a flutter. It will be the same coming back. It will be the same on the return flight. Not everyone will make it. Sometimes we all will, but it's rare we don't lose at least one person. But He held out a wing to pause anyone from overreacting. Sometimes those that get lost do find their way back. We've found hummingbirds arriving home weeks after they were supposed to. Same with geese and finches and other birds. Like I said, the important thing is not to panic. Pine Lord, same. Same. I had no idea what other people may or may not have said about me. And frankly, that was so long ago, I stopped thinking about it a long time ago, too. Word choice, person. For chat delay. Stream delay, actually. So I don't know what you're referencing, Melody. Got about 16 minutes left in this sprint. Oh, and the almighty janitor's a trip. Oh, you said we might lose a person. Oh, thank you. Animals are not people. Animals are animals. Thank you, Melody. It's rare we don't lose at least one traveler, one flyer, one bird. All of them are going to be birds. But I would like to use a better term than bird. One relative? They're not related. Featherkin? Salixon, that's a good one. I do, okay, yes. But kin, okay, the definition, the hard, solid definition of kin is what? If kin means, like, the same species instead of, like, family. One's family and relations. Okay, that works. That works. Flockmate, yeah. Kin. Because, technically, all of these animals are kin to one another. Thank you, Salixon. Boop. Oh god. Boop. There we go. There we go. Bird's son? Yes. Okay. They all calmed down a bit at Span's reassurances. It was finally sinking in for them that the long flight south wasn't going to be like flying the meadow. Flying in the meadow? Flying around the meadow where they were safe most of the time from predators and bad weather. Death was not new, though. A solid fact sat in the back of their heads, as well as all of the other animals' heads, that death was a part of their lives. The circle. Their circle. The circle. There were animals that preyed on other animals. Accidents, sickness, bad weather, all of it was part of life. And though it hurt when someone was lost to the circle... There we go, to the circle. Hang on. Even though it hurt when someone was lost, the circle always moved on, and they would too. Ha! Yes. Yes, please. Are you ready? One Leg's voice interrupted Hummer's thoughts on death and the potential to lose someone during the migration. Wow, that came out of nowhere. That totally came out of nowhere. Who's what's it? Got about 12 minutes left of this sprint. Yeah, but that makes no sense. The transition from Span talking to, are you ready? Like, are you ready to go, basically. Let's see. The important thing is not to panic. Okay. Thank you, Wordwind. Thank you for the quote. Oh, God. Probably, are you all right? Okay. Okay. Nope. There we go. There we go. I think that's when I hurt my shoulder, Pine Lord. The lift heavy things, even though I'm extremely sore from last night. It's not when I hurt my shoulder, it's when I did like push-ups the night before. Like, so exercise in the evenings instead of the mornings now. Yeah, I could like barely lift my mug of coffee because I have a foobarred shoulder. So I think that's where that one comes from. Ooh, Salixon, if you would like to share Anna's link to her stream, please do so. Got about 9 minutes left in this sprint. Let's see. Okay. Are you alright? One Leg's voice interrupted Hummer's thoughts on death and the potential to lose someone during the migration. He looked up and around, noticing that most of the other birds had dispersed at the end of Span's speech. I think so. Hummer looked down at the ground with a blank mind, not sure what to do. One Leg was walking away when something hit his thoughts. Hey! Hummer buzzed off his perch to shuttle next to One Leg. Where do we sleep? One Leg stopped to look at the small bird. What do you mean? He looked out over the meadow and to the branches of the trees. Oh, you live in a hollow, don't you? He asked, remembering the squirrels. Yeah, are there... He couldn't think of the words to complete his question. Hummer couldn't. Doobadoo. You can sleep on my back. Most of the hummingbirds do, unless the weather is bad wherever we land. One Leg answered. There we go. Like toilets and stuff. Thank you, Wordwind. I don't have that particular command set up because I don't know how to do that. But thank you. I'll do this. Hopefully Anne's not streaming right now. She's hosting. Okay. Boop. Boop. Jesus. Ah, I see. Nice. Anne has a well put together channel. Oh, Geek and Sundry. I love Geek and Sundry. Nice. Yes, I am Wordwind, yeah. The shoutout command? Yeah, I have not made one yet. If you guys would like to tell me how to make a shoutout command, I'll do that. Oh, that is a lovely pride heart. Sorry, I just saw it. That's Alex, then you lift and throw 100-pound things all day, like toilets and stuff. Toilets are heavy. Solid porcelain. Are they still porcelain? I don't know. Okay, Hummer thought for a moment. Maybe he needed to try sleeping on one leg's back before they left, even though it was last night he would be in the meadow. I think it's a basic command that's preset. I would need to know the code. Hang on. I can probably find the shit, what is it? Not that. What am I trying to do here? Aha! Yeah, the command, you got about 5 minutes left in the sprint. The command would be like, shout out, I don't know how to insert their link, basically. I don't know how to, insert their link. Yeah, oops, there we go. Alright, Melody, you are free from work. Yeah, yes, everybody keep writing. You travel safely, get home nice and safe. Thanks for hanging out, especially while you were at work. Much appreciated. Have a great rest of your day and weekend, and we will all catch you later. I will have to look into that. I will have to look into that. We got about 4 minutes left in this sprint. There we go. Sorry, I'm nice and warm and cozy, and I just want to take a nap, sleep for the rest of the day. And now I know why I'm getting so tired. My headache is gone, which means the Advil kicked in, which means painkillers put me to sleep. I normally don't take pills, even if I do have a headache. I mean, like, pills as in, like, for headaches or even allergies. I try not to, because I'm weird. And when I do, they knock me out. Or they try really, really hard to knock me out. And it's hard to resist. It is hard to resist. So, could I sleep on you tonight? The words were awkward at best and made Hummer regret asking them. Yeah. I don't have a problem with it. We usually sleep near the pond. You can come over when you're ready, and if I'm already asleep, just tuck yourself in. He bobbed his head in affirmation. One leg, just because. One leg bobbed his head in affirmation. Okay, thanks. I'm gonna ask my parents first, so I might not show up. All right, One Leg replied, understanding the indecision. Hummer left the meadow to find his... He left the meadow? He left... Where did he leave? The middle? Hummer left the middle of the meadow to find his family already in the hollow packing more food away. Now this, I don't like leaving dialogue hanging if I can help it. Got about 2 minutes left in this sprint. Nice, guys. I see you there. 2 minutes left. Tomorrow's the day? Hyder asked. Everyone else stopped what they were doing other than Chiff. Okay. Tomorrow's the day, Hyder asked. He was the first to notice his feathered brother land on the branch just outside the hollow. Everyone else stopped what they were doing, other than Chiff. Tomorrow, Hummer confirmed. His head drooped along with his little shoulders. He didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay with them, even though he couldn't. Oh, honey, come here. Roxy gently waved her paws, but he didn't move. It took all of his brothers to guide him into a group hug. All right, word win. Go take care of your pup. We'll still be here. When you get back, if you get back. If you don't, have a great rest of your day. And we'll catch you later. Less than a minute left in this sprint. Okay. It'll be all right, his mother purred to all of them. She pulled back from the hug and lifted Hummer's face up so she could stare into his depthless eyes. Probably need to change that. Maybe. It will be. We'll still be here when you get back, and Span's family will take great care of you. She leaned down, nuzzling her feathered son's face, his brothers following suit. It didn't make him feel much better, but he did decide to stay home for the night. He wouldn't spend the last moments any other way. Or he wouldn't spend the last moments away from the only family he knew. There you go. 2, 1.
Bing! Time's up.
Time's up. Next sprint will start at the half hour. And you don't have to put your word count in if you don't want to. That's totally fine. Jesus, stand my ground. You were rocking it, though. Congratulations on that word count. Nice. Let's set another one up. So a 10-minute break for those people who are sprinting. 30, 20, boop. Public, create. Here we go, here we go. There we go. Next sprint is in about 9 minutes. Sound like 3:31, but you drew wife aggro and lost half the sprint. Damn. Oh, damn. That wife aggro, though. Gotta watch that. Gotta watch that. I think I need to... After the birds left for the season. Alright. I need to make notes of where to insert the other pieces of the story. Because I didn't write everything all on the same document. I'm totally gonna run out of chapstick. Okay. Morning came all too soon, with a lavender sunrise painting the few clouds on the horizon. Golden light slowly broke through, warming up the dew and making those that dozed peacefully. Oh, and waking those that dozed peacefully. Ugh. It was going to be a very big day. A touch of chill hung in the air longer than it should have, reinforcing the idea that was indeed Alright, this is why it's editing time. A touch of chill air reinforcing idea that the something was indeed going to change. Maybe the weather? Seasons? Weather. That the weather was indeed going to change. Hummer still didn't want to believe it, but went along anyways. During the night, he decided to tackle this migration like one of his flying challenges. It needed to be broken down into smaller parts he could assess, and one step taken at a time. Wow. Words. Words. Hang on. There we go. It needed to be broken down into smaller parts he could better assess and take one step at a time. Hey, that sounds better. That morning he needed to wake, eat, drink, and travel down to the geese for takeoff. Ice Bunny got a quarter of the pages for your paper and started with the analysis outcast today. What is analysis outcast? I has no ideas. Boop. Just because. And congrats on the progress. Celebrate those little progresses, big progresses, any progress at all. Let's see. Where are we? His brothers were at his side for every part. They took their morning meal with him down to the meadow and ate while Hummer drank from a few flowers. They followed him around as he drank dew from a few well-known places where it was sweeter. Sure, why not? They followed him around as he drank dew from a few well-known places where it was sweeter, noting to themselves they didn't have to always travel to the pond for water. Sure, why not? Why not? His brothers were at his side for every part that I've already read. As they went from plant to plant, the familiar noises and songs of the meadow started to come alive, but with a bit more urgency and excitement. Even the skunks and prairie dogs were out and about, gathering at the clearing where the geese were to take off from. Roxy met them there, having taken the direct route instead of eating her breakfast. Chif stayed behind to look on from atop their tree. She was disappointed he didn't come to see Hummer off, but she would allow him this one last gesture of stigma against their feathered son. Sheer numbers in birds made it seem like the meadow was gathering a swarm that was about to sweep southward for better or worse. Hummer hoped it would be for the better and tried to hold on to his determination. "Remember what Span told you?" Roxy insisted. Before Hummer could reply, she pulled him off his perch in the back of the group and started to groom his feathers. "One leg is there to help you, too," she said. His brothers looked at her like she had lost her mind. She was only trying not to show how much she would miss him while he was gone. "I'll be all right," Hummer told her slowly so she would catch all of his words. She nodded, taking in the gesture just as much as he was. I don't know what that means. It was the first time he had said he would be all right, and the more he thought about it, the more he believed it, and the better he felt. That's what that meant, okay. "Take care of Mom," Hummer insisted to his brothers, hopping to each one to nuzzle their faces. There you go. "Make sure to keep Dad on his toes as well." He dipped his head in a mischievous manner in which they returned the gesture. That sounds really cool, Ice Bunny. I may not know what that collection of words in the sentence mean, but that sounds really cool. That happens a lot. I'm rather dense that way. Take care of Mom is something I've already read. I need to do this. A chuckle left them all before attention was called to the center of the group. Settle down, Span called in a loud tone. The chirps, trills, and songs quieted into silence, only the last few remaining crickets ignoring him. Remember the flight order? Songbirds first, then smaller birds, then ducks, then owls, then geese. We'll be bringing up the rear. Any stragglers can draft us until they make it up into their group. All at once the birds started to line themselves up in the meadow so that they could take off in an orderly fashion. Being at the back of the group brought on a bit of anxiety for Hummer, but he only had to look at his furry family to keep his confidence. Ah, I see, okay. You are jogging my memory with art history. Yeah. I was wondering why some of that looked familiar. Art history was made the least fun it possibly could have been made by the teacher that was teaching it to my class. So unfortunately, I didn't get to enjoy it as much as I probably should have, or the rest of us should have. Got about 1 minute left until we start a sprint. Yeah. Yeah, I do allow links, Ice Bunny. If you want to share, please do. One leg was already flapping his wings to get ready, the itch to get moving nearly too strong. He made sure to keep an eye out for his passenger, though, and settled down when he arrived. Tuck in for the takeoff, One Leg reminded him. Hummer nodded, hunkering down beneath the large feathers, casting one last glance at his brothers and mother. Before Hummer could tell One Leg to wait, they were already bobbing and bouncing at a run, then in the air, One Leg flapping hard to gain height. Had they taken off already? Was he already leaving? He didn't want to leave. He wanted to... Hummer's heart started to beat wildly, air suddenly nowhere to be found. He still bobbed and bounced against the back of the goose, his tiny little feet holding onto a feather as tightly as they could. The anxiety was much stronger than he had ever experienced, threatening to make him let go.
Let the writing begin.
And fall behind, even if that meant not surviving through the winter. At least he would be with his family. 20 minutes on the clock. If you are writing, sprinting, there's your sprint. I'll sporadically call out how much time is left, if I remember to look over. Are you alright back there? One Leg called, managing the volume of his voice better. When his passenger didn't poke his head out from under his feathers, he started to worry that he had already dropped him. Fine, Hummer trilled back, not leaving the suffocating feathers. You don't sound fine, One Leg retorted. He tilted his head back a little farther. Rain novel, welcome back. Still a lurkin'? You're still awesome. Hello? Oh, I was wondering if that was that painting. I saw a video on actually how they made the print system for this, the traditional ink stamp print for this, or something similar. But yes, lovely, lovely, lovely. Sandy noticed her brother's inefficient flying pattern and eased over to him, Mage on her back along with a few other hummingbirds. Everything all right? She asked her brother. I don't think so, One Leg replied, head turning front again to line up behind Brawn in a better fashion. Sandy looked to her brother's back. She could see a little lump in his feathers where she knew a tiny bird was hiding. I have not seen that one before. That's definitely not English. Alrighty. That's okay. It's alright to come out, she purred gently at him, her body bobbing lightly with each flap of her wings. We're still pretty low. You can even fly around if you want. Hummer still didn't come out of the feathers. He was too afraid that he would just return to the meadow. Mage revved up his wings and buzzed over to where Hummer's lump was. His eyes held concern. He had never known another hummingbird that didn't want to migrate before. I know this is your first time out, Mage offered. The lump moved a little. The first time you're away from your family. A small beak poked out from under the feathers. Remember, we're your family too. We'll stick together. Enough of Hummer's head finally poked out so he could look up at Mage. He was the next closest thing to his furry family, especially his brothers. I'm missing a word or words. This sentence doesn't make sense. He was the next closest thing. I guess he was the next closest bird he considered family? Yeah. He was the next closest bird he considered family. Animal, actually. Next closest animal he considered family. The older hummingbird was right. All the animals in the meadow, even the geese they were flying with, they were as much his family as the squirrels that raised him. 16 minutes left in this sprint. Sure, hopefully that will read better. Enough of Hummer's head finally poked out so he could look up at Mage. He was the next closest animal he considered family, and the older hummingbird was right. All the animals in the meadow, even the geese they were flying with, they were as much his family as the squirrels that raised him. Much better. Much better. Wordwind? Probably not. Probably not. Carbonated drinks make the spice of food worse on your tongue. If you eat something spicy and then drink a carbonated thing, it usually makes the burn worse. It certainly doesn't help if it doesn't make it worse. It's neutral or worse, from my experience. I try to drink water or not carbonated things if I know I'm going to eat something spicy. Not that I'm being a jerk or anything. You mentioning food, I'm like, yeah, I'm hungry. I'm just a little bit hungry. And the music's a little it's on the peppy side. It's like super peppy. Don't taunt me, woman. Sorry. I wanted to make sure that Jim hadn't sent me a text that he, like, wasn't gonna be coming home until like 6 or 7. And I look and there's a little Fitbit message and it's my mom taunting me. And I'm like, the reason why I said don't taunt me, woman, is because my frickin' app hasn't updated for like 3 days. So it looks like I haven't been walking at all, when yesterday I got like 1,000 or 2,000 steps more than I usually do. Rant of nothing that is important. I'm gonna frickin' break my phone. When technology doesn't work, I get obscenely upset. Like, way more upset than anyone ever should. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, it says I'm like way behind, and I'm not. My phone or this app is just being a total jerk. And I don't know why. So there's that distraction there for you. Have fun with it. And maybe this will finally get me to like absolutely force my thing to get it right. And that is not the case. I've been upset enough when my phone hasn't worked that I've thrown it across the room before. You can do it. You can do it. I believe in you, little phone app thing. Oh, come on. Distractions are distracting. That was not helpful. Ice Bunny, that's awesome. Getting to see paintings in person is really cool. Urban, you could be correct there. I've tried a number of things. It's slightly important to me to fix this now because my mom taunted me. And we're a little bit competitive. Okay. With one another. Oh my god. I know, I'm so professional on stream right now, I do apologize, but it's also giving my voice a chance to take a break. Bluetooth, the bane of my existence. Anyways, there's about 9 minutes left in this sprint. I will have Jim fix this when he gets home, and it's not that he can fix it, because his phone is worse than mine. We're both having the same issue, and I don't know why. And this is when I'm going to put my phone somewhere where I cannot look at it, because I am disgusted with it. I'm disgusted with the app, yes. Ice Bunny, you're not a goofball. You're not a goofball. If I knew it was an option to go see a piece of art in real life, and I was gonna write about, or if I knew I needed to write about a piece of art and I could go see it in real life, I would. I wouldn't look at pictures of it online or anything like that. I'd actually go, because you're right. Like, a photograph or anything else does not relay everything the painting has to offer, or the artwork or the sculpture or anything. There are little tiny nuances that just don't get captured, and you can't see them. Like you mentioning the colors, is soft pastel pink, the clothes turning from black to a very dark green. Yeah. Okay, moving on in the store. Thanks. Hummer tilted his head again, rising a bit further. The chilled air was brisk, but not unbearable. Mage was standing in it like he was at the cabin. Seeing his mentor so sure of himself, Hummer stood up all the way and balanced, toes wrapping around a feather for security. Whoa. Or whoa. I think it's whoa. Hummer looked out at the surrounding vast sky that was still a touch dim in front of them, except for a few glowing clouds, giving a hint that the sun was indeed still rising. Looking back from where they came, the sky was alight with golden rays of sun trying to pierce the clouds that snuggled up to one another. Each ray was unlike anything Hummer had ever seen. So large, so vast. They looked all-encompassing, yet each was of different size. And there were so many. The world had never felt so endless. I misread some of that. Impressive, isn't it? Mage asked. He stood next to his young friend and looked at the gorgeous sky. It was a rare sight for hummingbirds since they always flew so low to the ground. Migration was always a treat in that way. Oh, Ice Bunny, going to Italy again. Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. Well, I hope you get to go again too, because it's pretty awesome. Where am I? Tuck back in, Mage advised. It's going to be a while before we land, and the chill air can make your feet stiff, difficult to hang on. He made sure Hummer acknowledged him before flitting back to Sandy. Once aboard his transportation, Sandy peeled away to get back into her position across in the V formation they flew in. I guess I should, boop. Boop. There we go. Hummer took a few more moments to take in the sights around him. Several flocks of geese flew around his own. Some small heads of hummingbirds popping up every now and then to look around before tucking back in, before tucking back in under the large feathers of their friends. Got about 5 minutes left in this sprint. Salixon, I will say, hummingbirds do not migrate on the back of geese. They don't. They just simply fly south on their own. If they are of the migrating type. And this particular species, the calliope hummingbird, does migrate. They usually nest in North America, and they fly as far south as, I think, the north part of South America. But they mostly go to, like, Central America. I almost want to just zoom in on this little dude. Sure, why not? Oh my god, the colors. These feathers on their throats, they literally, like, pop out. And they can, yeah. Like the spitting dinosaur that can stick his frills out, that's what their throat feathers do. And it's kind of weird. They almost look like little magenta spikes sticking out. I'm not a hummingbird expert either. Yeah. Got about 4 minutes left in this sprint. Friends, family. The geese on which he rode were his family. He had to get used to the thought and endear them the same way he had his squirrel family. It was the only way to cope with migration and not let his anxiety of leaving the meadow take over. Family, he thought, his beak slipping between the few feathers so he could hunker down again. Family, he repeated again and again, the thought echoing in his mind before he dozed off. Time stretched on without end. The brightening of the sky, Hummer's only indication that they were still traveling. He popped up from time to time to see what was going on, but it was always the same. Geese flying information. In the endless sky. There you go. Oh, panda bears. Panda bears. One thing that did change was the formation itself. Every once in a while the geese would shift around so someone new was up front. One leg never made it to the front because he was much younger than everyone else and not as strong, which was alright with Hummer. He didn't want to be in the stronger headwind that could threaten to knock him from his perch. A few times he did wonder what would happen if he did get knocked free. He could fly, after all. Wouldn't he just need to catch up? The thought of trying tickled the back of his mind until a particularly strong gust of wind nearly gave him no choice. The scare was enough to make him sink back down into the safety of one leg's feathers. Hashtag Spirates, yeah. Well, like, Salixon, we don't have to be experts, literal experts, in the creative field, but it doesn't hurt to be. Because if you're gonna make a piece or write a story about something you know nothing about, you actually do kind of have to become a little expert. I just hypocrited my words. That's okay. We're experts in a lot of things, and it's like we're the jack of all trades in expertism, because we may not be the broad expert of like hummingbird migration and know every single thing about the hummingbird, but we know just enough of a little piece that we're an expert in that little piece about a hummingbird, or that little piece about pirates or space or technology or anything else. I tripped over my words so bad. It's not even funny. Got about a minute left in this sprint. Thanks, buddy. That's okay. That's okay, Alex. And like, it's okay to dive too far into the research and you become an expert in that research. Like, in-depth anti-submarine warfare techniques is like you may not have needed to know that for your story, but because you knew it for your story, you could put in the little nuances about it if it came up, right? Right, what are these? Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Everything's...
Bing!
Ooh!
Time's up.
Time's up. And that is also my stand-up break time. So I'm gonna stand up, stretch, refill my water bottle. If you haven't been writing or watching for a while, I highly encourage you to do the same. And I will meet you guys back here in about 3 minutes. Alrighty then. We're back. Thank you for sticking with me through that short break. Let's get your word counts in if you would like to. You don't have to. Nice. I'll set another one up for the top of the next hour. Boop. Yes, yes. 20 minutes. Make it public. There we go. And Salixon, if I had known that about you, I would have gotten the joke. Best emotes on Twitch. Ah, right, yeah. I should be following you. I am not. Let's fix that. There we go. There we go. I also have a snack. The largest banana I've seen. There we go. It is snack time, by the way, for me at least, so here we go. Oh. That is what she said. That's what several hers have said. Oh, Tech Angel, terribly distracted and still behind on word count. Try to remove your distractions. Like, I had to put my phone over there so I wouldn't keep trying to fiddle with it and fix it. I've never had plantain. We have them at our stores, I've just never had them before. I have no idea what they're like, other than they kind of look like a banana. Rain, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. I don't mind that type of humor. Slice them up, fry them up. But are they like on the sweeter side like bananas are, or are they supposed to be savory? You're fine, Rain. I'll let you know if you're towing the line, but yeah. I don't mind the giggity kind of humor. My lord can tell you that. So they're sweet, okay. I had to move my mic. Just in tunes, hello, welcome. Sorry, I'm still eating. Hello and welcome back. Good to see you again. Oh, I don't think I linked to this. Next sprint is gonna be in about 3.5 minutes. If you would like to join, there's the link. Try not to get banana on my shirt. Sweater, really, actually. I will. There we go. There we go. I saw sailors. Where did I see sailors? There's the sailors. I'm gonna be careful about that. I have to be very careful about that, is opening links in this window. Less than 2 minutes left until the next sprint. I put some pink lemonade in my water this time. Oh. That is pretty tart. That is tart. Got about 1 minute left until this sprint starts. I did not add crunchy ice. I do like crunchy ice, obviously, but I does not have access to ice, or at least, yeah, no ice. I actually prefer my drinks room temperature or slightly warm, except for almond milk. If I was gonna drink it plain, then it's nice if it's cold. Well, and sodas, carbonated things should be cold, but things like water, coffee, room temperature, a little warmer. I'm kind of weird like that. I shook it. It's not beaten, it's shook. Soft and squishy ice. I think that's called gummy bears. Frozen gummy bears. I don't know. Keep those milkshakes cold, yeah. Ice cream cold, yeah. I drink my sodas room temperature, and I am actually okay with that.
Let the writing begin.
Myself, not that I'm okay with you being okay with it. 20 minutes. 20 minutes on the clock for this riding sprint. Go guys, go. Span finally made it back to the front of the group after a full day's flight, eager to find someplace to land. The area looked familiar enough. There was just one thing missing. There, a sparkle of sun off of calm water. A lake large enough to house monsters was a usual stopping spot since there was a nice field of grass and flowers nearby to snack on. Words. Pine Lord, that's the weirdest song. Or a rhyme thing. That sounds really weird. He honked loudly to signal that it was time to quit for the day. Another honk came. Oh, others honked back one by one until all of the surrounding flocks answered. Together they gathered in a tighter group and started to descend. Hang on, one leg called back. His voice woke Hummer from a lethargic slumber that, just enough. Whoa. His voice woke Hummer from a lethargic slumber just enough to let his feet grip tightly around its feather it had been holding on to. He didn't bother raising his head until he realized that they were landing. Carefully he peeked out from the feathers, the sun blinding him for a moment. The air had changed. It was warmer, smelled of water, grasses, and trees. He took a chance and crawled forward so he could look over one leg's shoulder. And the Chod Father, hello, good afternoon, how are you doing? Good to see you again. We are still doing riding sprints over here, or at least I'm hosting the timer for riding sprints. If you would like to join, there's about 18 minutes left in this sprint. How did your riding go last night? How far did you get? I had to run away for the dinners. Putting chapstick on again. I got 3,000 words written. Congratulations. Awesome progress. It's great progress for the day. 18K total. Ah, you're getting there. You can do it. You are getting there. There we go. Like, I hate it when, like, there's a belch, rumbling, and then it just doesn't come up. It, like, gets stuck, and it's like, am I gonna belch or am I not gonna do it? Sure, why not? Bleh. Oh, it's one of those types of rhymes. Okay, I thought it was like an actual jingle for lemonade. That explains why it's so weird. Okay. Bumble, you're almost at 11K. That's alright. That's alright. Just keep writing. Just keep writing. Like Dory, just keep swimming. And if you're stuck, get writer's block, find an image that may spark some inspiration, or try writing a different part of the story, or try writing another, like, story altogether. Or a song or a poem. Anything that you write will count towards the 50k. It does not all have to be part of one big story. Not unless you want it to be. That's what I ended up doing at the tail end of mine. I had written the main body of the story. I was many thousands of words short, and then went on to write different parts, entirely different settings of the story, and barely scraped by. Writer's block, invoke Chandler's Law. You've mentioned that before, and I have forgotten what it is. And of course they don't... And of course all you get is a law firm. Anyways. 15 minutes left in this sprint. A seemingly endless expanse of water was directly below them, the sun shimmering off of ripples and small waves. He started to think that everywhere they were going to go, he would continuously everywhere they were going to go would continuously overwhelm his cemented thoughts of what the world was really like. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Feet breaking the water's surface started echoing everywhere at once. One leg pulled back and skied in with everyone else, his landing rather smooth. His momentum carried him forward enough that the geese behind him still had enough room to ski in as well. Hummer looked back, still entranced by the size of the pond they had landed in. Span led his flock. I can't remember which one I was using. Probably this one. Span led his flock towards the shore, giving everyone a chance to enjoy the cooling waters before hopping out. He knew the young ones in the flocks would be exhausted and wasn't surprised when he saw most of them lagging behind a bit. One leg managed to keep up, but only just, his breast still heaving from the strain of landing. "You'll get used to it," Span chuckled. The rest of his family gathered around him, hummingbirds still riding on their backs, including his own. "This is our first stop. It's one of the larger lakes, and we stop here because of the fields." He turned to the side and held a wing out. Hummer's eye followed his gesture, gaze landing on rich greens and nearly glowing flowers that he still recognized. "Hummingbirds, we would appreciate it. We would appreciate it if you stayed rather close while we are here." Wow, my brain went kerfuffle on that. Though it is peaceful here, there are some foxes and other predators that won't hesitate to take the opportunity to snag an easy snack. He bobbed his head in such a way that Hummer was sure he had seen just that happen before. That's what it is. That's what Chandler's Law is. When all else fails, have a man walk through the door with a gun in his hand. Ooh, the sun is setting, which means sunlight's coming directly through my window. Alright, let's see. Everyone glanced around for a bit, then headed inland. The younger hummingbirds opted to simply stay on their geese counterparts instead of risking flight until Hummer couldn't take it any longer. He was the first of the young ones to buzz upward, but still followed one leg. Mage had long since started shuttling above Sandy, and since he was doing it, Hummer thought it was safe, and the rest followed. It felt so good to finally stretch his wings again. He had no idea that migrating would make him feel like a rock with feathers, unable to move, and that he actually liked moving. His thoughts wandered back to his squirrel brothers, who rarely held still. After he thought about it, he told himself that he would take any chance he could get to fly, even if it was just shuttling above one leg for safety. Orange blossomed in the sky above them as the flocks of various birds rested and found something to eat and drink. Had a whole day gone by? It didn't feel right to Hummer that that a day went by and he did nothing but sleep. Janky words are janky. It didn't feel right to Hummer that a day went by and he did nothing but sleep. There you go. Was that what Roxy and the others would be doing in the winter? Oh, in winter? Nothing all day? He had trouble imagining it. Did you get enough to eat? One Leg asked, bringing his small companion out of his thoughts. Oh, Hummer looked up, somewhat surprised. Yeah, there are plenty of flowers around here. You? Oh yeah, One Leg answered back, not sure what to talk about. They really hadn't gotten to know one another too well before they had left for migration. He wasn't sure if he needed to keep the hummingbird distracted from his thoughts of home. They seemed to distress the poor fellow. If you need to talk about anything, I'm here, One Leg offered. I'm an excellent listener. His eyes smiled at Hummer, letting him know he could dump anything on him that he wanted to. Thanks. Hummer gave a curt nod, not sure if One Leg would be interested in hearing what kept tearing through his mind. Maybe talking about it would help. Maybe tomorrow, Hummer offered. The happy response from One Leg wasn't expected, but it lifted his own spirits quite a bit. It made the new surroundings, the growing vastness of the world around him, seem less daunting. Okay, what is this? Figure out if geese fly daily, longer, or other. Okay, but also this. Insert Meadow Scene 1 and Will of D. Hello, welcome back. Good to see you again. How are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Got less than 10 minutes left in this sprint. That's right. So let's find out. Oh, I can spell. Come here. When they migrate. Do geese fly every day when they migrate? The basics of bird migration, how, why, and where. Why do geese fly in a V? We already know that. Okay. I don't want to know why they migrate or what types of migration happens. I want to know if they fly like if they land every night to sleep. Basically, you're doing good, awesome, a bit sleepy, oh, I know, yep. Most of the night drawing and stuff. How are you guys doing? Doing pretty good today. Started with a little headache, but all better now, kind of perking up a little bit. There's a person home. I can hear his pants swishing as he walks. Let's see. Oh, he has meetings. Okay, that's fine. Anyways, okay. Greater day-length cloud will raise more than 46. Average 2 to 3. I'm currently looking up to see if geese who migrate land every night to sleep, or if they just keep flying forever. Not forever. I know they land eventually, but let's see. Okay. I'm not worried about like how they figure out where to go. Just when do they sleep? Okay. Got about 7 minutes left in this sprint. Okay. Oh, Will of D, please do share what you drew. Yes. Links are allowed as long as they are not malicious or malware. Sharing is caring. Do share your work. While I try to research. Um... I'm not worried about the ranging maps either. Let's see. How often do birds rest? Basically, is what I'm trying to find out. And not all geese migrate. Some geese live in their places year-round, but these particular ones migrate. Got about 5 minutes left in this sprint. I don't need to know the origin. Goose facts. Goose facts. That might help. Did you know geese eat more than 1 to 3 pounds of grass per day, produce 1 to 2 pounds of waste per day, average about 5 goslings per year, weigh 20 to 25 pounds, mate for life, and will stay together throughout the year, are federally protected by the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. Nice. Nope. Okay. Maturing, molting, migration. The seasons is October through March. Their flight range can be 2,000 to 3,000 miles. They don't become the resident geese unless they are injured. Resident geese do not know how to migrate. They can fly long distances, but generally you've learned it's not necessary. Pond hopping. Pond hop, foraging. Ah, damn it. 4 minutes? Like, they have a lot of this site has a lot of facts about geese, except for the one that I'm looking for. How often do geese rest during their migration? Do they stop every night? Do they fly for a few days and kind of doze on the weather patterns, like the wind? Can they just, like, shut off half their brain and fly for, like, 3-4 days at a time? Wordman. They're not that bad. Geese aren't that bad. Okay. Depends on the goose. 3,000 miles. They fly 34 miles an hour. Ish, maybe. It's an awful way to answer that question. Yes. Maybe all about, yeah, I've opened this one before. Internet connection is quite laggy, probably because of the weather. There have been some storms coming over in places recently. Today, actually. Got about 2 minutes left in this sprint. Wow, that was such a... Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm like, wow, that's really useful. Okay. Pylord, most birds can fly for days, even weeks at a time, and they only have half their brain sleeping at a time of flying. I kind of figured that would be the case. We got about a minute left in the sprint. That was like the one thing I was like, figure out if geese fly daily longer or other. Yeah. Okay, so... Well, Hummer doesn't really get to witness how often, or how much he's flying, I guess. That would be... okay, actually... I technically don't need to know how often geese land because these geese are different from the other geese that migrate, as in these geese have passengers, tiny little passengers that probably need to eat a little bit more often than the geese actually do, so these geese would be burdened. They would be burdened. They would have to land more often. Yeah, Justin, like, making up the resting habits...
Time's up.
Time's up. Making the resting habits for these geese anything that I want is a plausible thing because they have passengers. Yes. Yes. I hate it when that happens. I'm like, I need to figure this one detail out, and I like obsess over it, and then I realize I didn't actually need to figure out that detail because my story gave me leeway to make up my own thing or get around it or not even have to mention it. Yeah, the story is not realistic when it comes to hummingbirds catching rides on geese for their migration, so I can literally make it up. I can make it up. Boop. There we go. 591 this time. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. I'm gonna do a little 10-minute break. And if you want to keep sprinting, you can use the 10-minute break as your sprint and go right into the next 20-minute sprint, which is the last sprint of the day. I spent like the first hour just yammering and talking. But that's okay. That's okay. There's that. We got about 8.5 minutes until the next sprint starts. So yes, insert meadow scene 1 here. We will do that. I could do that right now, actually. There we go. Now I just need to go back and find it so I can read through it. There we go. There we go. Okay. You don't need to know this. This can go away. That can go away. This can go away. Will, did you ever post a link to your art? If not, that's okay. If you'd still like to, go for it. And boom. And boom goes the dynamite. Okay. After the birds left for this season, the remaining animals put that much more effort into getting ready for winter themselves. The deer were preparing the rest of the deer. The rest, or the last of the deer were preparing to leave, giving what help they could to the smaller animals so they would have the best chance of surviving the cold. Squirrels, chipmunks, and other dexterous critters pulled double duty, running to burrows, hollows, and nests, foraging, preparing, and planning. Foraging, preparing, planning. Yeah, my writing style did change a little bit. And that brought it back into it. Okay. Previous winters had varied greatly over the years. Some weren't that bad, others had nearly wiped everyone out except for those deepest underground. Okay. Nice. What website is this? And nice. Like, I have it just, it's, the internet window I have is only a quarter of my screen over here, so I can fit all the other things on my second monitor. That is awesome. I like your color choices and balance of those colors. Yes. Yes. You got about 5.5 minutes until the next sprint starts, or that's how much time you have left for that sprint if you're using the break as a sprint. Sorry. Salixon, you just gave me an idea to make my bot a little bit more interactive. Which I'd like to make a note of that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Took me 8 hours to draw. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. But don't worry, you'll get faster at it. The more you do it, the faster you'll get at it. But you have to keep an eye on the quality as well, because sometimes when you're getting faster at your art, the quality will start slipping. It's kind of it's a balancing act. All right. Using the break to plan the rest out, yes, breaks were imperative to thinking about the next step for the next sprint and all that good stuff. Okay. Squirrels, yeah, I already read that, okay. Chiff made sure to pitch in as much as he could, only stealing moments for himself in the mornings and evenings. He had a small routine outside of the usual hustle and bustle of the day. Hey, Stomp. Chip looked down to a large antlered deer, the same one that had come by every morning to take him to the commemoration site. Okay. While they had known of each other, they hadn't been friends. They hadn't been that close of friends, not until after the spring storm brought their community together. Hey, Chiff, today's the last day, the large deer replied. He looked guilty that he would be leaving, but if he wanted to survive the season, he had to. Just like the others. Who had already left. I know, Chiff sighed. He nimbly climbed down his tree just enough to stretch out and take hold of one of Stomp's antlers. Once on board, Stomp started walking slowly to the resting site. Beneath. Oh my god, beneath? Breath hung in the air as they walked. Hoofs muffled by the first gentle snowfall. It had been light and powdery, its color brought out the bright green of the pine trees hanging from their boughs. The trees that had leaves were merely skeletons of their former selves, reminding Chiff that life was a circle. But the circle was always around them. Sure, why not? Oh, Wordwind, yeah. That would be a thing. intense stuff. Okay. The trees that had leaves were merely skeletons of their former selves, reminding Chip that the circle was always around them. We're here, Stomp cooed gently. He had grown used to Chip getting lost in his thoughts, his eyes usually looking through the trees in the direction of where Polly had been found. The poor thing. Stomp felt increasingly sorry for the squirrel that couldn't let go and move on. He lowered his head until the squirrel could hop off with little effort, his paws leaving tiny prints in the snow. Ooh, got about 20 seconds until the next sprint starts. He couldn't move on either, though. The deer gently hoofed the ground to clear a few fallen twigs away from the mounds where the brown badger family was supposed to have been. They weren't able to recover their bodies, but they gave them spaces nonetheless.
Let the writing begin.
20 minutes, everybody. My last 20 minutes of the day. Get your words in. Get those words in. They deserved it just as much as the others. Wow. They deserved it just as much as the others. Oh, as they were dear friends. Probably, I'm gonna stick a comment in there. I don't know if it needs to be, but I'm going to. While Stomp did his clearing, Chip did his own in silence. They weren't alone, though. A few other animals that remained had also taken to keeping the site as clean and orderly as possible. It was a solemn duty that should have acted like a salve, but only reminded them all the more of who they had lost. Eventually, Chip told himself, eventually this will stop hurting. He truly believed that it would, and to help the pain ease a little faster, he sat down in between Polly's and Shell's mounds. I might cry, just so you know, 19 minutes left. Hi again, you two, he started. It's morning. The first snow fell last night. Wish you could see it. It's like a soft powdery blanket, and it's so white. He paused so he could lean over and touch the mounds, the flowers long gone but the grass still there. The deer are leaving tomorrow. That just leaves us, the usuals. He smirked to himself. I don't know what winter will be like this year. I'm just glad you'll always be safe. I don't know how much I'll be able to visit, but I will when I can. He sighed heavily, closing his eyes. There wasn't much more he could tell them, and it was time to start helping the others. I'm sorry I can't stay longer. We're still getting ready. The skunk family had trouble foraging this year, but the boys have been stocking up for them. I think we'll all be just fine. I didn't cry, oh my god. He patted the two mounds. Rest well. In one smooth motion, he stood and went back to Stomp, who was patiently waiting for him. He even lowered his head to take the squirrel back so he could save his energy for the rest of the day. I am proud of myself I didn't cry. Alright, looks like everyone is here. Doug looked around. There you go. The last deer, Stomp, had just arrived carrying a sad-looking Chip. Today is the last day the deer are here. Let's make the most of it. He started giving out orders to already made groups of animals. A few burrows needed to be dug a little deeper. I need a name. The Blank family needed just a few more days worth of food. There was a branch hanging dangerously that needed to be taken down before the wind could do it, and so on. With orders received, they all set into motion. There you are. Roxy made her way to Stomp as the deer let Chip down. I thought you remembered the meeting this morning. I did, Chip said with reassurance. His body motioned to the commemoration site. Roxy nodded in response. It's all right. Come on, the boys can't do all the work themselves. She smiled with her eyes, her body language inviting Chip to follow her. He did so, their boys joining up with them near the burrowing owl home. Their task was to dig it a bit deeper so that another family could move in for the winter, and the task was nearly complete. With the 9 of them working on it, they would be done by the end of the day, or so they hoped. Okay, I need a critter name. A critter family name. Oh. Just in a squirrel family. Sorry, stretching. looking outside too. And this family needs a few more days worth of food, so it has to be a family of chipmunks or bunnies or field mice or skunks. It could be a small badger family. Someone that would live through the winter in the meadow. And Pinelord's still suffering from procrastination, and Will's still suffering from writer's block. Oh noes! Oh noes! If you would like any suggestions on maybe how to help break your writer's block, I would be willing to say a few, hand out a few. Of course, Wordwin, of course. Got about 15 minutes left in this sprint. Gun, door, pew pew pew. Yes. Writer's block. When in doubt, have a man with a gun walk through the door. That would be an interesting thing to do. It's almost like those writing dice. Yeah. A side character transforms into a monster. Yeah, suddenly ninjas! Surprise lightsaber. What's it? I haven't really mentioned bunnies. Or rabbits. What are the kind, like, not all rabbits have their fur change in the winter. Sorry, I looked up northern hare and a rabbit with really big ears popped up. What kind of name am I looking for? I am looking for a name that describes an attribute or personality quirk of an animal. It could be the color of an animal, if they're bouncy, their name would be Bounce. If I'd like, Hummer is named Hummer because he's a hummingbird. Doug is named such because he digs, or he used to dig, so he's Doug. 13 minutes left in the sprint. Pebbles, because she likes to collect pebbles. That sort of thing. Brown, because the animal was brown. Twitchy ears. Twitch. Possibly. Rather, maybe steer clear of the platform that we are streaming on. Yeah. For Will, I like having a picture to keep me focused, and it doesn't have to be one picture, it could be several pictures, but to keep inspiration and focus, I like to find a picture related to the thing that I'm writing to, whether it's a hummingbird or something else. You could go around, look at some art. You could read an unrelated story, or a story that you know won't really interfere with your own. 12 minutes left. Melody would be ashamed. Some music, or watching a show, or even just talking to someone about your idea or your story. Because I know there's some writers out there where they're like, I just can't get the words out. I can't do it. And they're like really stuck fast in the I can't department. It's like, try to start thinking that you can. Well, this isn't meant for you in particular, but there were probably some out there that are like, I can't. Try to switch your thoughts doing it. I can. and just write a scene later on in the story, or write a little tiny story like that's completely unrelated. For Nano, you don't have to write all the same story. You can write several short stories. You can write snippets of things. It's just the word. It's just the words that count. Melody. I am looking for a name still. A name of a family of, I'm gonna say, rabbits. And please no Hopper Hopper. Or Hoppy. Or Big Ears. Something that would describe a rabbit family as a whole. Or, and not really the rabbit family as a whole, but like, it's almost like, the Johnson family, right? Or just to make it simple, a rabbit family needed just a few more days worth of food. Done. The Breyer family. Yeah. Breyer Warren. That's a very apt name, Wordwin. A very, very apt name. Twice now. Thank you, Selixon. No, no. Because the definition of a warren is a network of interconnecting rabbit burrows. That's like the best perfect description, nearly, for a family of rabbits to have for a name. Okay, got about 8.5 minutes left in this sprint. Let's see where we end up at. Morning came, turned into day and then night again. Each evening the flocks landed, each morning they took off once again. The cycle was less tedious, made by Hummer's many stories about his family, namely his brothers. It helped pass the very boring time for One Leg, who was more than happy to listen. Other geese were also grateful for the stories whenever they flew behind One Leg. Everyone else but the youngling had made the migration journey before at least once, and passing the time was somewhat of a chore. Span didn't really want to encourage the distraction, though, because that meant no one was paying attention to the ground, the landscape, the signals they needed to see in order to know where to land. A few times he mentioned to Hummer that paying attention was going to become important, which quieted him down, but as soon as Span took a different position, Hummer was chatting again. Different position in the flock. There you go. One afternoon, after Hummer needed a small intermission for his voice, the sky changed suddenly. Clouds rolled in from the direction they were headed, creating a wall that reached from the ground to well over their heads, much higher than they could fly. Its girth was rapidly expanding to either side, leaving the flocks no choice. An order of fly through was given, along with words of encouragement being passed around. It was another big storm, like the one they had flown through to get to the meadow. While no one was lost or injured, it was not a fun experience. Lost or injured during that storm. There you go. It was not a fun experience. One Leg was not looking forward to it. Forward to going through it again. The first one had been hard enough for his young wings to handle. The growing storm ahead of them looked worse than the last. Bunningtons. Got about 6 minutes left in this sprint. Everyone pulled in their formations especially tight, letting the lead geese cut them a path. Rain erupted in large drops before they hit the wall of clouds. Strong winds picked up. The sky sounded angry at them for not landing and waiting out the gathered energy until it passed. "We should land," One Leg called through the gusts of wind that carried his words away. Hummer had no words for what was happening. He had no choice or no say about the storm at all, and his deepest fears came to life. Stories of the storm that had ended so many lives prematurely plagued his overactive imagination. Stories of the storm that hit in spring. Yeah. He could not bear to think of losing anyone close to him, or anyone at all, to anything or anyone. Scary tales of how that night passed, leaving trees in shambles, some tipped over entirely, and all of the debris crept into his rare nightmares. A similar storm was gobbling them up as if it were a giant eagle. Honks rang out through the rain until lightning flashed, followed by deafening thunder. Hummer could feel the vibrations in his chest, making him worry that they could stop his heart at any moment. One Leg honked back to let his flock know he was still with them, though he could be seen behind Span. Okay. Hang on. Yes. Hang on. Before this happens, I might do this. There we go. Damn it. Plus that, okay. That part. And then... hang on. Oh. I need to do things. Oh, do. I'm like rearranging things. This isn't confusing at all. That's okay. It does not need to be. Okay, so I got ahead of myself. Let's see if okay, I won't have time to see if that made sense. So I'll mark that there. And then find the other place that I had hurt. Sorry to interrupt the story. But yeah, okay, so I got my inserts in there. Got about 2 minutes left in this sprint. Maybe I should label these so I know what the hell's going on. That was a mistake. Crud. Let's do... I'm scrolling. I'm gonna be scrolling a lot. I should probably put little... Oh god, come here. Okay, that's not one. Editing for the win. Okay. Nope. This Okay. There's that one. Nope, give. Thank you. Oof, I hate it when that happens. Got about a minute left. So this is so I can keep track of these. And then the deer, I think, are next. Yes. Okay. This is so I can keep the other documents squared away. And to let me know which ones I've already used, of which I should probably highlight them. So, let's see. We've done scene 1. That can go away. We've done... This is the deer. We've done that one. Okay. So I know not that I don't need to grab them again. And sharp, also scene 1. Okay. Okay. There we go.
Time's up.
Perfect timing. Alright, when I come back tomorrow, I'm gonna start where I just inserted sharp right here. And yeah, time is up, and I'm also gonna call it for the day. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you guys found the sprints helpful, even though I wasn't sprinting myself. At least a couple of you guys. Thank you so much for joining the sprints, taking advantage of the sprints, and good luck on your writings for the day. All right, yeah, I'm repeating myself again. I'm gonna call it for the day. And Tech Angel, yeah, stream your story. Yeah, stream your story. See if you can break through the writer's block. That would be amazing. I would most likely, hopefully attend if it wasn't too late at night. Christ, my exit is terrible today. Anyways, thank you everybody for watching. I really appreciate it, especially you lurkers in there and chatters. Both much love. Thank you for the support. If you are new around here and you would like to know when I go live, you can follow me on Twitch and on Twitter at JasmoColors, and I will catch you guys all next time.